gamers. How are you guys? How was your day today?
Does that describe it?
How was your day, AJ?
It was pretty good. Went to work. I went out to dinner with my parents because it was their anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to a wonderful Applebee's. I know Hungry's favorite.
Happy anniversary. Here's the half-priced apps. Nothing says I love you like I'm paying half of what I would normally pay. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Glentendo Podcast. This is my show. I'm Glentendo. This is a weekly Nintendo / Smash community.
Weekly?
Galaxy. Yo, weekly, bro. Galaxy brain / maybe occasional peanut brain takes on all things Nintendo and competitive Smash Brothers. Joining me today, not one, but two guests. Returning champion, Mr. Arhungry himself, the creator of the youtube.com/Arhungry channel, and an excellent gamer, an exquisite Nintendo gamer. Arhungry, how are you today, sir? Eh. That's not a movie quote, is it? Just
no. I mean, you could.
Technically it is.
You could probably find a movie. Probably find at least one.
Yeah. And for my audience, you may not recognize that sexy voice that is a newcomer after 49 episodes. On the 50th episode, show supporter, good friend of mine, and again, exquisite gamer. We only have space and room here for exquisite and excellent Nintendo gamers, all right? My friend AJ, he streams on twitch.tv/air_Gordon_. Damn, 2 underscores.
Yeah, the first Air Gordon with 1 underscore was taken, so I had to add an extra one.
Was Air Gordon with no underscores taken?
I don't know.
Oof.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have gone with that. It's too late now.
Yeah, but we've known each other. Well, the three of us have known each other forever. And the funniest thing about this is that at this exact time, we're recording pretty late on a Friday night. It's hard to get people like on the same schedule to record earlier in the week. But anyway, this exact time, the three of us specifically are like the Wi-Fi smash grinders of our little Discord group, of our little circle of friends. So like, it's good that we're actually doing something productive right now, as opposed to starting a Smash session and ending at 4 a.m. with me just raging about Hungry's Wolf in the chat.
Hey, I could be playing Pac-Man.
Dude, when we play and we get like the Animal Crossing stages and it turns to morning, I know like, oh, this is bad.
Oh yeah, you always point that out, and I never noticed that I keep like, I don't notice it until you point it out. Like, we're playing for hours, and then all of a sudden Town and City and Smashville are in daytime mode, or like that morning mode.
And, like, oh, we messed up.
Okay, so guys, we obviously have an insane amount of stuff to talk about. This is like, again, every time we get these big directs, like it's like what the show basically exists for. And so we have so much stuff. Like this direct from this week is a lot of stuff that we weren't expecting, but also a lot of stuff that was just leaked and things that people expect every single time from a direct. So there is so much to get through that here's what we're going to do, okay? Because we don't have time to talk about literally everything in this direct. This was one of the 40-minute directs where I really feel like there wasn't a lot of fat, and like legit, it felt like there was a big announcement like pretty quick every couple minutes. So I'm going to run through, just like some of the small like headlines so that we at least talk about every game at least once and we mention it at least once. And then we'll stop for like the bigger ones and we'll talk about those in more depth. But we'll just kind of skim through those like headlines. But while I'm skimming through those headlines, I want you guys to chime in with just like no gray area, just one or the other. I'm going to read a headline, and before moving on to the other one, I want to hear from both of you, either hype or buns. I'm sorry there's no in between. You're going to have to like I know some of these are going to be tough where you're going to be like, it's not exactly hype, but it's kind of buns. You're going to have to pick one or the other. All right. Are we in agreement on that? Is that okay for both you guys?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, cool. Hungry, how are you feeling about the hype slash buns odometer here?
I don't agree to anything.
Dude, help us out, all right? We need you to say either hype or buns, all right?
We'll
This
see what
guy's gonna leave
happens.
AJ with all the bun work.
We'll see what happens.
All right. So right off the bat, the direct starts, right? The direct starts. Monster Hunter Rise. God, that's dude. My tongue is like in a knot right now. That was like a pretzel. That turned your tongue to a pretzel. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak is like a huge DLC expansion for Monster Hunter Rise. Obviously, like big Switch exclusive game. Comes out 2022. When you guys saw it, hype or buns?
Personally, for me, Buns. I don't play Monster Hunter, but if you like Monster Hunter, I'm assuming it's hype.
Okay, Hungry.
All right, so the funny thing is that when I first saw it, I thought it was Smash, and I was like, "Come on!"
Yeah. Same. Because they always open the direct usually with the Smash reveal. Is like the big like CG trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like,
So you were buns straight up.
Buns, and I was like, "Oh, I don't care."
Yeah. All right, and then they move on. Mario Party Superstars. Obviously, this is like super hype. We're not going to talk too much about it yet. When it comes out, I'm sure we'll talk about it. But they showed some of the returning boards. This game is obviously like a big remake mashup of like the three N64 Mario Party games. So there's 5 remade boards from those 3 games, over 100 remade mini games. There's a now a mount mini game where you just kind of like go from mini game to mini game, and you could do all those modes online or local multiplayer. Finally, God, game looks really cool. It's obviously a hype from me. I don't know if either of you are on the Hungry's on the buns on Mario Party. I already know, bro.
I mean, I wonder if I would still like 3. You know what I mean, like the 3 stuff,
Yeah,
because that was my favorite one.
that was your favorite. That one's objectively the best one to go back to. I know we've talked about that a bunch, but
I haven't
hyper
played
buns.
it though. Like I haven't played it since I was younger. So what if I just hate it?
Yeah, right. So hyper buns. Just like what we saw in this in the direct, we're kind of focus it to the direct. You know what I mean? Like as you were watching it, were you like hype or were you like buns?
See, and buns are not the same. So I don't know.
Was it buns or was it buns?
Buns.
Okay, AJ.
Yeah, I'm hyped.
Yeah, me and you are playing this for sure. And
Yeah,
by
I'm
the
definitely
way,
getting this.
we're gonna get into it a little later with one of the other topics. But AJ, I promise you, when I say that we're gonna play a game together, I finally mean it, bro.
Oh my
I
god,
know I've
I
been
can't
keeping
wait
you.
to bring this up. I actually can't wait.
I'm sorry, dude, but
Dude, I'm
I
gonna
mean it
roast
this
you.
time. Yeah. All right. So moving on. A new game was revealed called Voice of Cards: The Isle Dragon Roars. It's a new card-based strategy game from Square Enix. The creative director of this game is actually Yoko Taro, who's best known for being the director of the Nier series. And this game comes out October 28th. So another just random game that they're just like, yep, you didn't know about this, and it's coming out in a couple weeks. Yoko Taro, obviously, that just sounds cool. Like, I'm not into these kind of card-based games, but when you attach that name to it, I think those fans are going to be like, all right, now I have to check it out, because the Nier fans are like just insane at this point. So, AJ, hyper buns when you saw this.
Buns. Not in the card games.
Yeah, I'm on the bun side. I'm just, once I see cards, I'm like, I can't, man. Hungry?
I like card games.
And you like Yoko Taro.
I do like Yoko Taro, but he also has directed a bunch of like mobile games and stuff. So like, I'm not I'm not like particularly hype about it either. You know?
Yeah. So hyper buns.
I'm leaning towards more hype, but I'm not hype. You know?
Okay, gotcha.
I'm trying to have nuanced opinions. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna get to we have nuance with the bigger topics, but for the sake of entertainment,
I'm still keeping it short.
For the sake of entertainment, you got to go hyper buns on the next one. All right, Disco Elysium Final Cut. This game is like This game like is a very small indie game that what people couldn't stop talking about like the past couple of years. It's like super popular. It's supposed to be amazing. It's a dark noir detective RPG. It comes out October 12th. And this is weird because I don't know if you guys caught this, but they were like, digitally it comes out October 12th. Physically it comes out early 2022. But yeah, This game is like it's really interesting RPG detective game, and like apparently the story and the writing is supposed to be really good. Like this should have been on the Switch like forever ago. This is a perfect fit. For me though, I'm gonna have to say it's Buns because I just don't, I just don't want to play like that genre of game. That's just not for me. But I could see someone seeing this and going like, "This is the most hype thing of all time." AJ, hype or Buns on this one?
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think Buns, but if it's something that's up your alley, like it looks like you'll get a lot out of it.
Buns, but up your alley. Gotcha, bro.
Buns up your alley.
Hungry, what do you think?
I'm not gonna play this on Switch.
Hype or Buns, my friend, in the direct.
Hype.
Okay, hype. All right, and then right after that, we have Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, DLC Wave 2, October 29th. Dude, I should be so hyped about this, but I'm on the Buns with this one. Like, I'm maybe at some point when the game is like finished, I'm gonna dig into it and like really nerd out on all the Hyrule Warriors stuff and the Breath of the Wild lore. Because again, this is like a prequel to Breath of the Wild. But for now, like I played the demo and I was like, wow, this is better than the first Hyrule Warriors. But like, it's still not something I really want to play. It makes no sense that I'm not interested in this game, dude.
Still Buns.
So for me, it's Buns, and dude, I'm having trouble saying that about a Zelda property, man. I'm saying Buns about Breath of the Wild. That's not right, dude. Nintendo, what are you doing? AJ, hype or Buns?
Buns. Again, I feel like I had the same experience where I got the first Hyrule Warriors. It was okay. I think I lent it to a friend, and he definitely liked it a lot more than I do. Or I did, because he's into the type of game that the Hyrule Warriors is based off of. I forget what they're called.
Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors. He was really into Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty
and then the
Warriors
same thing. I tried
the
the demo for this one. I'm like, yeah, this is better than the first Hyrule Warriors, but I don't know if I want to pay like full price for this game. So currently Buns, maybe hype at a discount.
Yeah, because you're definitely also like me and Hungry, where like you loved Breath of the Wild and like you love Zelda games and like the lore stuff. Like when I see the cutscenes, like the one they showed in this direct, and you see all the characters and they're talking, and you see more of like Rivali and stuff, that makes me want to play it so bad. But then I play the game and I'm like, you turned me from hype to Buns like so quickly, bro.
Hungry told me that it was like an alternate timeline, so it doesn't even count.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's pretty bad.
That's good for you because then you don't have to care anymore.
It's actually true. So Hyper Buns, when you saw this, you're Buns, right? Yeah. Okay.
You're welcome.
God, if we had 3 Buns on Hyrule Warriors, man, a DLC. All right. And then the next game, Chocobo GP, comes out next year, 2022. It's a Final Fantasy kart racer. All right. I'm going to say that again. Final Fantasy kart racer.
Not the first time that's happened. There used to be a PS1 one.
Yeah, this is actually a sequel to the to Chocobo Racing from the PS1. Came out in 1999. And again, like maybe I'm being a little bit of an asshole by saying that it's a Final Fantasy kart racer because like they're taking the goofier stuff from Final Fantasy, but still, like after a certain point, you're seeing a Chocobo and a Moogle on a racetrack with like scooters and stuff, and like that doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Funny. It's the same reason I didn't like Link in Mario Kart. But anyway.
No, that's different. It's not like it's Cloud on the bike, even though he isn't a bike.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's canon.
That's canon. And they didn't do it. And they
I'm like, where's Cloud?
Oh, yeah. No, what I'm saying, it's not goofy. God. It's like the Moogles are just goofy. You see a Moogle, you want to laugh. You're like, what is that thing? Why is it killing me?
You know what they should have done? I mean, this is so off topic, but in Final Fantasy VII, the original game, you have Chocobo races, and it's a mini game in the game where you could breed your own thing and you race it, and people love that. And like, just make an expanded version of that where you have the heroes racing on their custom Chocobo. Like that would have been in the universe. Mario Kart is in the Mario universe, so nobody looks at it and goes, "Why is Luigi throwing a banana peel at DK?" Like that's canon. Like all that is normal in that universe. But yeah. This game comes out next year, and obviously I love kart racers, but dude, I just can't, man. I'm sorry. This is gonna get a Buns from me, dude. I'm sorry. AJ, how do you feel?
Buns because there's no Cloud on the motorcycle.
Hungry Buns?
Nah, I'm going hype.
He's going to hype. All right, you contrarian, you jerk.
Funny,
I know you would have said Buns. If me and AJ said hype, you would have been like, dude, that was so Buns.
Nah, that's funny. Some Moogle, man.
All right.
Moogles are funny. I don't know. No one doesn't find Moogles hilarious.
Moogles are really funny. And
dude, imagine dying to a Moogle. Like they're monsters, bro.
It's funny. In Kingdom Hearts, there's a Moogle wearing like the black trench coat that like all the Organization 13 members wear.
Right. That's funny. So funny. Is he like tiny though? He's like a tiny
Moogle? He's still like a normal sized Moogle. He just has like the black trench coat.
Yeah. There you go. It's funny.
Hungry. This is a topic for another day, but just quickly, I'm sad that you didn't finish Final Fantasy VI because if you think Moogles are funny, you didn't get to the part of that game where Moogles are really funny. There's like a moment in that game that makes Moogles like really hype. So eventually you'll have to get to that.
I did get at least one hype moment with the Moogles. Or like two.
Which was what?
Moments. I don't want to say. So
okay.
Someone hasn't played the game. Someone out there.
Yeah. All right. So then we get to our first big topic. We just ran through a bunch of the quick headlines. The final Smash Brothers character was not revealed. The biggest surprise was that they didn't reveal it, right? So they announced that the fighter will be revealed in the Sakurai Presents on October 5th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time. And usually what happens is like you'll have a direct and they'll have like the CG trailer and then they'll be like, hey, like now that you see the character, we'll show you how he works. Sakurai does like an in-depth like walkthrough. They're just combining those, I guess, now. So I'm just wondering like why did they do this? And I'm wondering like I hope that they don't like not have a CG trailer for this character. Like, did you guys think about that at all? Like, were you worried that it was like, wait, is there not going to be a CG trailer? Because like those Sakurai Presents are really fun, but they're also budget. You know what I mean?
So there's going to be a CGI trailer.
There has to be. It's literally the last character. Like, how can they not have a fancy CGI trailer for the last character?
All the other ones did. I'm not like concerned with that at all.
Yeah. But what is there anything you guys could think of that makes sense for why they didn't just reveal it here?
It's like because
they've never done this.
It's because when a Smash character gets announced, that's all people talk about. Like, remember the direct where they announced K. Rool and Simon and Richter?
Yeah.
Do you remember anything else about that direct?
No. Off the top of my head, no, I don't.
There you go.
Yeah. But then again, maybe there wasn't anything big in that direct.
It was like 40 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. There has to be something.
There has to be at least one thing, for somebody else. So like, oh, this was hype,
Yeah, that's actually true. Holy crap. But so the funny thing is that this date, it doesn't really mean anything to me. I was like, okay, October 5th, cool, whatever. But then the fan theories on Twitter came in and they're like, this was on purpose because it's the exact date that Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl comes out. And so a lot of people think this was on purpose to be like a dick move, to be like, oh, you're going to make a Smash Brothers game? Move over, little guy. Small fry. Go back to Weenie Hut Jr., bro. This is the big boy right here. We're going to just, on the day that this game comes out, you're giving everyone who might go on their eShop to buy that game, you're giving them a reason to buy Smash Brothers instead. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Nintendo doesn't know when Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl is coming out. They know.
It's on Switch?
Yeah. It is on the Switch.
Yeah, and it's someone's job at these companies to make sure that they don't, like they plan out releases. Even when they have like a third-party game, they don't put things out on the same day that are going to are from the same genre. You know what I mean? It has to be like something completely different. So all I'm going to say is this. I'm not going to say that it's on purpose because that is like super funny. That is like super aggressive, but it's definitely not by accident. It's not like they don't know. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah. Thoughts?
I think if it is true that they did this intentionally, I think that's mad petty and it's hilarious just to think of it that way. But I wouldn't honestly, I wouldn't look too deep into it. Like, I'm not going to get out my tinfoil hat and say like, Sakurai knew he wants to have a monopoly on the subgenre, like
right.
So I'm gonna clear something up right here, right now, right here, right now. Fatboy Slim style. Sakurai had no say in this.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah.
You think he cares? Right.
Like, he doesn't care.
Yeah, if anything, that's a Nintendo move. They're gonna be like, it's kind of, we're going to talk about this later with a different game, but there's for a first party Nintendo game that was at the end of this direct that the guy who directs the game was like, bro, I'm not in charge of when this game gets shown to you. Nintendo is. So I'm sure that like Nintendo's has the final word on like, this is when you're showing this character because you're going to do it. They usually do it with their directs and they want it to be part of like, the messaging, and they have a rhythm to how they announce shit, all that stuff. So yeah, don't blame Sakurai, guys. There's definitely not Sakurai being petty about SpongeBob and Patrick, suplexing each other. Yeah, definitely a Nintendo thing. As if, fanboys needed any more reason to mindlessly hate on Nintendo. We're going to get to that in a bit. But the next big
there's
game.
There's fanboys and there's like the anti-fanboys. I hate Nintendo.
Yeah. Wait, they're like fanboys, but they're like, they're trying to pretend that they're not by saying that they hate Nintendo, but they still buy and play everything.
Yeah, another thing is, aren't these like the presents? Aren't they recorded like pretty far in advance?
So they're probably recorded like really close to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you probably don't want to spend money renting out the studio.
Well, one of them was in his house, so
or his house, yeah.
They gotta pay Sakurai for him to record in his own house.
Yeah. I think the last one was the first one where he was back in the office, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Kazuya was the first one where he wasn't at home, like sitting on his couch or whatever. But yeah, speaking of Sakurai and the other series that he's famous for creating, even though he has nothing to do with it anymore, this is probably the coolest announcement. Definitely no Buns. I better not hear Buns from either of you on this one. Then right after the Smash Brothers announcement, or the announcement of the announcement, they revealed Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This is a game coming out in spring 2022, and it's a 3D Kirby game. It's a 3D platformer starring Kirby. This is the first time they've ever done this, finally, a 3D Kirby game. And the trailer shows Kirby exploring what they call in the video an abandoned structures from a past civilization. It's literally like a mall and in like amusement parks, and like it's like Nintendo just trying to tell us, bro, like, our species is just, we're done, bro. Like, we're just moving on and we're making games for the post-apocalyptic demographic, bro. Like,
so funny story is that in Kirby 64, there's like this frozen planet. It's like the description is like, a once lost civilization used to be here, right?
Yeah,
and like it's like the planet is blue and like icy blue, right? But it's just Earth, like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's actually true. And then like they do that with Pikmin, where Pikmin is supposed to be, it's on a strange planet that like the inhabitants are gone or whatever, and it's like, dude, there's literally a Duracell battery. Yeah, it's Earth, like Duracell battery. It's literally, it says Duracell on it, like they paid for the brand or whatever. And like Splatoon is the same way, where if you read the lore, they tell you like, oh, this planet was inhabited by like monkeys at one point or whatever, and then they are extinct and the squids took over. So Nintendo has like some fetish for like, our characters exist after we're dead, after humans are just gone.
There's also a Game Boy Advance in Wind Waker.
Oh yeah.
Oh
the Tingle Tuner.
The Tingle Tuner.
Yeah. So first of all, just initial reactions. I know obviously like I'm a huge fan of like 3D platformers, and I've been wanting them to take all of their platformers and make them 3D forever. Were you? But you guys are definitely more into Kirby than I am. So the fact that I'm hyped about this, I can only imagine you guys are super far away from Buns on this one. AJ, what was your reaction?
At first I'm like, wait, is this Splatoon? Because like it was the mall, like the city setting.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, it's a bit too colorful. And then Kirby showed up. I'm like, oh, it's Kirby. And he moves to 3D. I'm like, oh my god, they finally made a 3D Kirby game. I'm so excited. Like,
that's awesome. Yeah,
that looks so cool.
Hungry, what'd you think as the 3D platformer guy? I feel like you like 3D platformers more than I do, which is crazy.
Yeah, I have like the really soft spot for 3D platformers because I just grew up playing like a million of them because everyone wanted to copy Mario 64.
Yeah. Except for Nintendo. It's like they only made Mario 64 and they took the rest of their guys and they were like, Rare, if you want to make a 3D platform, go ahead, but we're not going to make more games like this except Mario. This is so funny. But yeah, what was your reaction when you saw this?
So I like Kirby games, but really I like Sakurai Kirby games.
Wait,
Right?
when did he stop? Was it Superstar
No,
on
he didn't.
SNES?
It was
No, there
Air
was like
Ride.
two or three more after that. I think the last one was like Nightmare in Dreamland or something like that on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Someone will correct me on that. It's all good. Um, yeah, all those Sakurai Kirby games, I'm super down with. Everything after
Yeah.
that. Mm,
Yeah, right.
so I
So
don't
so
know.
basically like the first few.
Yeah, so there's like 5 or 6 Kirby games that are good,
Yeah.
which is a lot to say for a series.
Yeah, shout out to Nintunist, a friend of ours, like listener to the show. He said something really funny about this where I was like, wait, like I'm a 3D Kirby game. I'm actually excited about a Kirby game for the first time in my life. And then he replied, yeah, Yoshi has officially demoted Kirby as the least innovative Nintendo franchise. And I'm like, wow, that's actually super facts, dude. Like
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Kirby's very formulaic, man.
Hold
Wait a
on,
minute.
It's pretty.
Wait, hold on. What
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the canvas curse? You're drawing on the DS.
No,
Yeah.
there's actually like
and,
mad Kirby spin-offs where like Kirby's doing random stuff.
Yeah, he's yarn that one time.
The
That's
the
true.
Kirby like
Mass
golf
Attack.
game, what's it called?
But even with all that, he's still the only series I would say is less innovative than Kirby is Pokemon and Yoshi. Yoshi is like, don't even get me started, man. Like that series is just boring as heck. Like they don't change this. They change the art style, and that's the best they could do. Kirby, they'll change the art style and maybe one or two mechanics, but for the most part, the core games they're like the same game
the
over and
core
over
games,
again.
yeah.
Like Triple Deluxe and like those games, like those are all
Star Allies.
yeah, like they're good, of course. Like they're solid games. They're none of them are like bad or anything like that. But Kirby is kind of like Sonic to me in a way where um, I don't think any of the games are like super broken, and then they range from being like good to just like average. But the music and like the art and the universe carries it like really far. Like
Yo,
the
hold
music
on.
in Kirby is just
Look,
A plus every
All
time.
right.
Hold
As
on.
a Sonic fan, I need to
Wait.
tell you, you're giving Sonic too much credit.
Yeah.
Like Sonic has hit lower lows than Kirby has ever gotten near.
That's true. Yeah, it's
Like-
not. Yeah, I didn't actually. I'll say that they have similar high points, is what I meant. Their lows are
Okay.
definitely very
Dude,
different.
Sonic low, like he literally hit rock bottom twice. Like
Yeah,
that's bad.
How do you
on
hit rock
topic-
bottom twice?
On the topic of least innovative, how are we gonna compare to the god of non-innovation? I was gonna get mad at this one.
Yo, be careful, bro.
Which is it?
The god of non-innovation. We have played Star Fox, the same game,
Yeah,
3 different times.
You know what though? There are less
Across
Star Fox
decades.
games, bro. They just keep porting the same one. And Kirby, they literally make a new one, and they say that it's new, but
Bro,
it's not
there
new.
was Star Fox 64, which was a remake of Star Fox, really.
Yeah,
And then there was Star Fox, the platinum one. What is it called? Zero.
Zero.
Those are
Yeah.
all the same game.
Yeah, and then there's Star Fox 64 3D, which is like a remaster of
Literally.
64.
Literally
yeah.
the same game.
Yeah, it's literally the same game. But they tried some stuff. You're being too hard on Fox. He doesn't even have that many games, all
You
right?
see? I
Leave
didn't
him
even
alone.
get mad.
Leave him alone, all right?
Little boy
But
getting
anyway, one of the things people have been pointing out about the Kirby reveal is like, all right, it's finally in 3D, but when you guys saw it, did you guys like think about like, is it really 3D? Because like in the trailer, you kind of see what look like open environments, but it doesn't look like you don't see Kirby like go. It looks like he's still kind of moving in like a linear-ish path. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I know
is
what
that-
you're saying.
like how do you think that's going to play out? Because like I from looking at it, I don't really know. Like I'm wondering if it's going to be like more like Mario 3D World. You know what I mean? Where like it is a linear level and you can move three-dimensionally, but it's on like a kind of a narrow path. Does that make
That's
sense?
okay.
Like
Yeah, a
Yeah,
bunch of games have done that. Galaxy did that. Crash Bandicoot does that.
Crash Bandicoot's a perfect example. But then did you guys feel that from watching it, or do you think
Yeah,
it's
for
going to be
sure.
a little more open?
No.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like more like get point A to point B. Go like like the Kirby thing where you go from one level to the next. Not gonna be
Yeah.
like Mario like 64 where you go in like an open world or
Yeah,
semi
like a
like
sandbox.
like a
Yeah.
sandbox area and try to collect stuff.
I think a lot of 3D games fall into that trap of like making this big open world, and then it's really boring to move around. So
yeah, yeah, and also Kirby is like, so one of the problems with Kirby games, and I see it in this trailer a little bit, is that Kirby is like slow, and that's by design. Like in they Sakurai created that game to be kind of like Mario at the time, believe it or not, was considered like a little bit more difficult, and like he wanted to make the easiest possible game, like platformer. So he made a platformer where you have infinite jumps and you move, like everything's very slow and you could kind of just float around and it's not too aggressive. Whereas Mario comparatively at the time was like hyper aggressive. Obviously today we live in a world with like Super Meat Boy and DKC and stuff where it's like Mario looks so safe, but like Kirby was like
those
super
early
super
Mario
safe.
games are actually pretty hard.
Yeah, they're balls hard, bro.
Mario 3 is a difficult game.
Yeah,
man.
I remember having trouble with like a couple of later levels in Mario 3.
Yeah, World 8 is really hard.
Yeah, so like to that point, the only thing I'm like a little worried about with this Kirby game is that like he looks a little slow in the trailer, and I feel like part of the reason why I love Mario 64 so much, and like Banjo-Kazooie and all the other good 3D platformers, is I love when you can move really fast and do a lot of different jumps, and like I don't know that you could do, like you see just he floats, like I don't know, his movement as a character looked very very basic in the trailer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that's not really surprising.
But that's also just Kirby. There is one thing in the trailer is that when Kirby got the spike ability, like he was able to roll around as like the spike ball, and I don't think he can do that in like the 2D games, right?
No, yeah, you're right.
So that kind of gives me hope that they're not just gonna like, oh, here's the power, but in 3D, like they're gonna like almost reinvent some of them. Like I imagine the sword power up's probably gonna stay the same. You're swinging a sword.
Yeah.
But like if the spike ball or the spike turns into a spike ball and you roll around with it, like I'm curious to see how other powers might get adapted to 3D.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is definitely super hype. Like I'm just, obviously like when I was a kid, I always wanted more 3D games like from the Nintendo franchises, and then like we didn't get those. And like what I'm thinking now, I don't know if you guys like see it the way I do on this, but back on the Wii, like New Super Mario Brothers came out on the DS and then on the Wii, right? And those games were like astronomically successful. Like if you actually go look at the sales data, I think you'd be surprised how big that game was on the Wii, even though it's like it's the most plain toast Mario game ever.
Those games, like they body like Galaxy.
Everyone. Yeah, it was like Galaxy sold like 10 million, and that New Super Mario Bros. Sold like 35 million. Like,
yeah, it was crazy.
Like, yeah, it was like Call of Duty, but if you were to just take it on, I remember Reggie said this thing once where he was like, I bet you that New Super Mario Brothers will beat Call of Duty this holiday. And I remember like Jeff Keighley or somebody was like, there's no way. And he was like, if not combined, like if you take Xbox and PlayStation and combine it, then we're not going to beat that. But if you take New Super Mario Brothers versus just one of those platforms, like Call of Duty on one of those platforms, we will beat it. And then sure enough, he was 100% right. Like that's how much that sold. Call of Duty was breaking records and Mario like kept up with it. But anyway, the only reason I brought that up is because when that became so huge, there was, I don't know if you guys remember, like at the end of like the Wii, Nintendo was like, wait, we should just bring back all of our 2D platform games that we haven't made in years on the Wii. And then all of a sudden you got like DKC came back. They had the Yoshi Yarn game. They had the Kirby Yarn game. They brought back even like Metroid Samus Returns in a way. I mean, not Samus Returns, Other M, in a way that was kind of like them trying to bring it to the 2D again after Prime and stuff. So I think with the Switch, Odyssey is actually such a big game, Mario Odyssey, and then the 3D collection was such a big game again, that maybe we're seeing that again where they're like, yo, we should just be making 3D platformers again. Like we're selling a lot of 3D platformers. We're selling more of those than we did the latest New Super Mario Brothers games on the 3DS and the Wii U. So hopefully this means DK is next. A Donkey Kong 3D platformer, please. First party by Miyamoto himself.
Nintendo does not make Donkey Kong games, all right?
Yeah, that's so true. But the rumor was that they did, that they were like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, do you guys think that's possible?
That Retro was, and then like they're like, hey, you got to make Retro Prime 4. You got to stop right now.
To be fair, the last first party Donkey Kong game that Nintendo made was godlike, which was Donkey Kong Jungle Beat on the GameCube.
Yeah.
So, and that team was the Mario Galaxy team. So, just give Mario a break and let them make a 3D DK, please. God, look how excited people are about 3D Kirby.
I mean, the Mario team are working on it right now. Like Odyssey came out, they didn't release any like DLC for that, so that team's doing something. It could be Donkey Kong.
To think about, you know.
Yeah, dude, that would be. How awesome would that be though if we got like a renaissance of like the 3D platformers, bro? That would be so sick.
Yeah,
man.
They kind of died off on like the what is it, the 360 era of games, you know?
Yeah. Or even on the GameCube, dude. Like I feel like once Rare got bought by Microsoft, Nintendo was like, well, the only Mario games we're making are 3D Mario games. And they made Sunshine, and that's it. I can't even think of another 3D platformer on the GameCube that was like that Nintendo level of quality.
It's like there was a Crash Bandicoot game.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Do you mean just like the Nintendo made, or just like in general?
Like what were the standout 3D? I feel like just in general, that was the generation where like Ratchet and Clank was killing it on PS2, and then you had Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. But overall, like that already is just a lot less. Jack and Daxter, yeah.
Sly Cooper? No one ever brings up Sly Cooper. It's always Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank.
I just said Sly Cooper.
The game I played as a kid, literally one of the first games I've ever played. Sly Cooper, no one brings it up.
And Sly Cooper's the only one that doesn't look cringe to me, bro. Like his character design, he's a raccoon. He looks mad cool. Like Jack and Daxter is just a cringe, man. I can't even look at those
games.
Are hype. All right, so hopefully we get more 3D platformers. DK, please, God. All right, so we're gonna run through another. We're gonna go through another hype buns, quick fire thing. All right, Animal Crossing Direct was announced for sometime October. They basically just tease like the music, and the long rumored and data mined Brewster's coffee shop from New Leaf. They basically show you that that's what's coming back, and they have like a big update plan but they have it. They have the direct for that coming sometime in October. No official date. I mean, I'm just gonna say it, man. I'm over Animal Crossing at this point. So if you're super into Animal Crossing, like I'm glad there's a big update because it's probably gonna be a free update like the other one was, and this seems more substantial. So it's hype for you, but it's buns for me. AJ, how do you feel about this one?
Buns.
For me, it's like I'm sure no Animal Crossing fans hear like the cafe music. And like, oh, it's so relaxing. I hear the music and I think of Smashville and like try not to get forward-thrown by Nets at Zero on like the platform. So my fight or flight response kicks in. So like, I'm gonna go with Buns. Like
trauma. The amount of times that we've been watching a Smash tournament and it's like a top 8, like super competitive, like it's like one of the like craziest, most intense matches, and the music playing in the background is this music from this Animal Crossing like Brewster thing is hilarious. Like there's so many moments where that happened.
There's so many times where I'm just fighting for my life and that song's just playing in the background.
Just relaxing and it's like, dude, I'm fighting for my life. Hungry, we already know your buns on this one, right? Damn, if he could give it a triple buns, he would. Dude, but that's not an option.
Whenever you get like ratings on the show, Hungry always tries to like not stay within your rating system.
Yeah.
This is the one time he just like, yeah, buns. He wouldn't even let you finish introducing the segment. He's just like buns.
Animal Crossing buns. All right. Yeah. And then Mario Golf on the Switch is getting a free big update. 2 new characters, 2 new courses out now, and it's free. So we're gonna get to is Nintendo super stingy in a moment with another topic, but while we're talking about that, I want you to keep in mind, you're getting some new stuff for free with that update. And yeah, I don't know, maybe that game is light on content and you don't feel like you're getting much out of that. But for me, I'll say that's hype. I think that's a cool thing. I don't even have Mario Golf yet, but the characters they showed look really cool. The courses are cool and it's free and it's out now. Like the second that you watch in a direct, it's out. I love when they do that. That's hype for me. AJ?
I'm going with Buns. Just like I thought the new Mario Golf game looked cool, and then I just never bought it, and I'm like, oh, all right, well, I'm just gonna move on with my life. So Buns. Yeah.
Hungry?
Buns.
Dude, it's funny because overall, I think this was a really good direct, and I enjoyed it. Like I'm just speaking for myself here. But now that we're doing this like hyper buns thing, I'm like, damn, there's actually a lot of buns in this. Like I didn't realize how many buns there were. Like,
Well,
this is bad.
there's a lot of little things for everybody. So not even just
Yeah,
for you.
I think the good thing with this is that if there's something on Mario Golf, they just announce it and it's like maybe a minute long trailer, minute 30, and they move on to the
yeah.
next thing. So
They don't
even if
bore
it's
you
not
with
for
it.
you, it doesn't
Yeah.
they don't spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah, they definitely messed up not delivering that game like 6 months earlier in the heat of the pandemic. They kind of released that game towards the end, or like towards when things were opening up more. I feel like when everyone was stuck at home and wanted to play an online multiplayer game, that would have been so much bigger. It definitely would have gotten the Animal Crossing buff in the sales. But yeah, the next game, Disney Magical World 2. It's a 3DS port. It has all
Two.
the it has all the the DLC. Dude, all right. I know I saw someone else tweet about this, but did you guys have a small heart attack when you saw it showed Mickey Mouse holding an invitation and you thought it
Yeah.
was Smash? Dude, I literally had a heart attack because it looked horrible, but I saw the little envelope and I'm like, wait, what? And then I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I want Mickey Mouse in Smash, but not that Mickey Mouse. He looks ugly in this.
Dude, Smash has
The
traumatized
Musketeers,
us. We
yo.
can't hear the Animal Crossing Cafe music or see
Yeah.
letters anymore without like
We're literally the guys that like the game developers hate. They're like, dude, these guys literally see Smash in everything. I can't talk about literally anything without them referring back to Smash. It's like, it's bad, dude. Like, it's pretty bad. We've mentioned Smash a million times already, and we're like halfway through this thing. Like, but yeah, anyway, this is a buns from me. I could not, this is probably the least interesting game in the entire thing, and I'm a huge Disney fan, but this is just does not look like an interesting
Yo,
game to me.
honestly, I skipped it.
Yeah.
I just didn't watch it. I just didn't care.
yeah, buns.
Yeah, it's a buns from me. All right. Then we have the announcement of a classic game coming to Switch, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. This is an old action RPG, not JRPG. RPG from the Xbox. It was like this game when it came on the Xbox, dude. I remember it was like Halo came out when the Xbox came out, and then everyone was like, "All right, Halo's great, but you guys have nothing else," you know. And then KOTOR came out, and everyone was like, "All right, you guys have KOTOR." Like this game was a big deal. Like everyone was talking about this game. Comes out on the Switch on November 11th. It looks just like the Xbox version. It's not like a remake or anything like that.
Which there is a remake coming out.
They're exactly, yeah. They announced a
PS5.
remake for next gen, and they ported the old one to the Switch. It looks janky, and some people like that about it. But yeah, this is it. What isn't the developer Obsidian?
No,
I'm sorry, or which developers is it? BioWare?
It's BioWare.
Yeah,
So
BioWare.
what
So
you're
they
thinking
went on.
about is the sequel was Obsidian.
There we go. Yeah. And so BioWare went on to make Mass Effect, and people say that like this is kind of like the beginning of Mass Effect. Like a lot of the big ideas that they had in this game, they like really perfected and made better in Mass Effect. But yeah, I'm at Star Wars fatigue, bro. You guys already know I can't stand Star Wars.
Yeah,
All right.
personally, I like this game. I didn't finish it just because honestly, it's just too old. Like
Yeah,
old
it's
RPGs,
janky.
they just have like one thing where you're like, oh my god.
That's so
Right?
true, man.
But like
Even the
the
classic ones, like they tend to run into a wall at some point.
yeah, like I want to finish it, but the motivation right now is not there.
But did you really like it up until that wall?
Yeah, it was really cool. Like it was like there's like really interesting things that like other RPGs could take from.
Yeah.
Um,
I've only heard great things about this game growing up. Like,
Also, like the voice acting is like really bad, but
oh God. Yeah, but for me personally, my little history with Star Wars is, you know, they have one great movie, one decent one with the first one, a good one with the third one, and then it's just bad movie after that. So I am done with Star Wars for the rest of my life. All
I
right.
heard
They put
Rogue
me
One
through
was pretty
hell.
good. Kind of want to watch it.
Dude, I'm done. All right. I can't do it. AJ Hyper Buns on
fine.
KOTOR.
No, I'm gonna say buns. I thought this like when people were talking about the remake, I thought this was it. Like, oh, okay, it's just a
It's
remaster,
so-
it's a port, whatever. But no,
It so does not look like a remake.
yeah,
It
no, I'm like,
looks
this is
like
pretty
Buns.
bad. Like, is this a remake? Are we sure? But now that it's like two separate games, I'll definitely go with buns twice because why would you just play the remake, assuming it's good? You know?
I mean,
Yeah,
it's not
right,
even-
right.
We haven't seen anything about the remix. We have no idea when that game's coming out.
Yeah.
So
But to Hungry's point about like game preservation, like obviously, and even that's something that we all care about, and that's something we just talk about a lot. it's cool that they have this version of it, because for the most part, from what I could tell, this is literally just the original game. Like, we're making fun of how it looks and stuff, but like some people probably love that they literally just have the exact same game and they
I think
didn't
that's hype.
change it. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's cool.
so I guess it's cool that they're making a remake for people who want it, but then they have this original version in a modern console. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, mostly buns from us. We're trying to like be civil here, but like, man, it's just hard.
I didn't
It's
say
hard for me to
buns,
see the
so-
animations of them swinging those lightsabers and not say buns. That shit looked horrible, man.
Nah, I didn't say buns. I'm gonna go with hype.
Okay, so we have one
That
hype
game's
for
good.
KOTOR.
That game's good. So it's
Yeah.
janky, and honestly, I didn't finish it, but it's a good game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha. You respect it. You respect the bun.
Yeah.
Dying Light 2, Stay Human. It's a cloud version. It's a PS4, Xbox One, first-person parkour survival horror game.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and up to 3 to 4 players co-op. It's coming to the Switch February 4th, 2022. And it's just kind of interesting because, like, I guess the cloud versions of Hitman and Control, they must have done pretty well because they keep doing these, like, cloud versions of games. For those who don't know, cloud version means that the game is not, you're not actually able to buy the actual game the way you normally do buy a Switch game. This is a game that you could only play over the cloud because it's actually streaming the game to your console. You're not actually playing it internally. It's not running on your console. And you need a really good internet connection. So before you could even buy it, they make you log in and play a demo. And if the demo reads that your connection was good, they let you pay to play the rest of it. So you could only play it with an internet connection. I thought the Control demo ran really well. Like, I didn't have any problems with it. So maybe my internet's just godlike. I don't know. But yeah, this is an option if people want like dark, gritty, mature PS4, Xbox One survival horror zombie game on their Switch. You could play this cloud version of this game. Hyper Buns. I'm gonna go with Buns myself.
I'm gonna say hype for cloud gaming because I guess it's a cool concept, especially for the Switch because like it's not as strong as the other consoles. So this kind of like sidesteps that issue a little bit. But in terms of the game itself, Buns, I really don't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hype on the fact that they're figuring out at least some way. Because I imagine there are people out there who are like me when I was a kid, where there was no way I could buy more than one console, and so I would buy the Nintendo console because it had the best games. But then you'd miss all these other games that are really good. So like I can imagine there's a kid out there who was like me, who's probably so happy every time he sees a cloud version of a game like this. So I'm gonna go hype on cloud.
Honestly, I've heard Dying Light's actually pretty good. So
Yeah, and I've heard this game is good. I can't look at it for too long with these like gritty post-apocalyptic survival horror games. They all look the same to me, but
zombie.
yeah, but I'm going to go Buns on the actual game in terms of what I saw of it, but cloud versions hype. And the prequel to Dying Light, which was an Xbox and Xbox 360 PS3 game, they're porting that to the Switch, not a cloud version. This is just a regular game. It's called Dying Light Platinum Edition. Comes out October 19th. Dark, gritty, mature gamers.
Wait, so is this Dying Light, or is it like a...
Yeah, it's just Dying Light, and the other one's called Dying Light 2, Stay Human.
Okay, so you're saying it's a prequel, really it's just the original.
Oh, yeah. That's so true.
Yeah.
But I think it's I think story-wise it functions. I don't know. I think like the one is modern setting and the other one's like before, but I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
The second one is a prequel.
No, it's not. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe I messed up. Maybe you caught me. We're not going to acknowledge it. We're going to move on. So I'm going to give it a Buns. I'm not interested in that game myself, but we talked about it. And dark, gritty, mature game. Again, this series is supposed to be really good. I don't want to crap on it if you're into Dying Light. But yeah, go play your Xbox if you want to play that. So Triangle Strategy. They dropped the project. Now it's not a project, guys. It's just a triangle strategy now.
Isn't that what they did with Octopath as well?
Yeah, Project Octopath. And then it's like Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I was like, that's a dumb name.
Yeah. So from the same team, Square Enix, from the same team at Square Enix that brought Octopath Traveler, what they're calling HD 2D. It's a tactics style strategy RPG, kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics. And it comes out March 4th, 2022. One of the cool things about this game is that they showed like First of all, the game looks beautiful. It looks like Octopath, but in that isometric like grid thing, which is really cool. They said that they released a demo months ago, and they actually took they talk about the exact things of feedback they took from fans from the demo that they actually incorporated into this game. They took like a minute in this direct to like show you. So that was really cool. I'm gonna give this game a hype. I'm gonna give this game a hype. This game looks cool. I already like the demo was fun. The art style is great. I think what they showed of it in this direct was cool. And I just, dude, I want them to make more games that look like this. This is so cool. And these strategy games are awesome. So this is going to get a hype from me, bro. No buns from me.
Dude, I am so hyped for this game. I think it, like everything you just touched upon, it looks great. The music in Octopath Traveler legitimately might be one of my favorite soundtracks. So if they get the same people from that game and put them on this game, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm all ears. I won't even look at the game. I'll just like have it playing in the background.
Yeah, AJ's not afraid of the Square Enix like horrible naming conventions. My guy's a fan of Octopath Traveler, Bravely Default, Bravely Second, and Bravely Default 2.
Look, there's a reason behind these names that I won't go into on this podcast.
They really do need to come up with a better name though, because Triangle Strategy, like that is not a real name.
That's pretty bad.
Get into it, AJ. Let's go.
Yeah, what's the naming convention thing? Explain that, because you like me and Hungry have not played those games. Yeah.
What, for Bravely Default?
Yeah. Why is there?
All right. So
Bravely Default.
In Bravely Default, it's a turn-based game, right? When you have BP and you spend 1 BP per turn to do an action. So if you just do that, you just go 1 action per turn, right? But if you default, you don't spend the point. So that's basically defend in this game. And then you have an extra point left over. So then the next turn, you can do Brave and then do 2 actions in that turn.
Oh, so the game is named after the actual like options you have in the RPG.
Yes.
So that's like if Final Fantasy was called Limit /
Yeah, if Final Fantasy 7 was just Final Fantasy Limit Break. Then
there you go.
Final Fantasy, and then wait for the timer to go so you can play your turn. Oh boy.
Yeah, and then in Bravely Second, that introduced the mechanic where you can press the select button mid battle, like during an animation, and do a move, anything. And you also can break the damage limit. So usually you can only do like 999 damage. You can add like an extra,
like old brick.
Yeah, you can add like an extra thing to it, or an extra decimal point.
You can add a second thing to it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But the kind of messed up thing about that is that it was on the 3DS, so you build up those the Bravely Second points. You build it up by putting your 3DS in the sleep mode.
Oh yeah, that's right. Or tell me about that.
Or you could spend real money to buy it.
Oh no, that is actual garbage, bro. Yeah. Real money.
Literally, you just put your 3DS in sleep mode overnight, and you're like filled up, like you're good.
Bro, that is still garbage. I do not want to hear it.
Yeah, it's 100% optional. Like getting these points is not hard. You just put your 3DS in sleep mode.
But the fact that they even ask you for money is hilarious to me. Like, bro, I bought the full game.
World of Warcraft tactics. Gotta get my well-rested EXP.
They show you the picture of like the characters in like almost a waiter and waitress outfit, and they're like, it's like a bottle of sake or whatever, and they're serving it to you like, hey, do you want the points?
Yeah, that's so funny. Okay, Hungry, what did you have a hype or a bun on that?
Cautiously optimistic.
Okay, give me a hype or a bun, please.
I'm more hyped than I am buns.
Okay, cool. All right, and then the next big topic we have. They showed a big story trailer for Metroid Dread, and of course,
I'm gonna take my headphones off for a bit. Message me when you guys are done.
I did not watch. I didn't watch it at all. So, I was about to not do this episode and avoid the spoilers, bro. But yeah, October 8th. Just like, dude, I can't wait for this game, man. Plug Metroid Dread directly into my butthole right now. I need this game. So this game is so close.
What you're saying is buns.
No, dude. I'm saying hype in the buns. No. All right. So, AJ, without spoiling anything, you saw this in the direct, right?
Yeah. So the funny thing is that I saw the first trailer, and then when the second trailer came out, I think I missed it. and then I heard it had a bunch of spoilers in it. So I'm like, okay, I'm glad I missed it. I'm just not gonna watch it. And then this came up. I'm like, oh no, well, I guess I have to watch it now because I watched it live.
Here. Yeah,
so like I couldn't skip ahead or anything. And I was streaming it in the Discord with Flash, so like I couldn't just like tab out. So I'm like, I guess I have to watch this now.
Okay, so without spoiling anything, right? Because I'm still not. I don't want to know anything about this game, and I skipped this part of the direct. How did the game look compared to the reveal? Did it look any different to you, or like what you saw? Did it make you go, "Holy crap, this game's gonna be so sick"?
I went back and watched like the first trailer just for like comparison, and the first trailer actually looked better than I thought. I think it might be because I was watching on a stream, so when I watched it back, I put it on like the highest quality available on YouTube, and like full screened it on my laptop. I'm like, wow, this looks really nice.
Okay,
and then I do think the new trailers look better, like just a little bit. But either way, I'm excited. I think.
Yeah.
I guess I don't want to spoil it, but the one worry I had in the first trailer is that it only really showed off like the laboratory, like metal area.
Yeah.
And I was worried. I hope the whole game isn't like this. But thankfully, in the trailer, they showed off that there are more environments.
And they look pretty like, different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like not, okay.
Yeah, because like, you know how like Fusion, where like you're always in the space station, and sometimes like it like you go into like the areas where all the specimens live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried it might also be kind of like that, where you can still always tell that you're in like this one facility, but it seems to just be like, hey, you can go outside and touch grass. You know what I mean? Like, like you're not just gonna be in this metal facility chased by these robots. Like
you're gonna be grass.
You're gonna be going outside. You know.
You know how like there was that meme of how you couldn't pet the dog in Breath of the Wild, and they were like, people just kept tweeting about games where you could pet the dog. Like they need to make games where you could touch grass and touch a football. They need to actually put that in games.
I'm actually mad in Breath of the Wild that if you have like the stick item, you throw it, the dog won't play fetch with you. Like I'm more mad about that. That's like the first thing I did when I got a dog.
Especially because they thought of like insane things that are less obvious than that. Like if you throw a rusted sword at the Octorok and he sucks it up and spits it back out, he de-rusts it. So like, how did you think of that? But you didn't think of like, hey, there's a dog, you throw a stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, Metroid Dread. I'm glad you said that. Hungry, did you watch? I know you saw the reveal trailer and you weren't like super impressed by it. Did you watch anything after that?
This was a really convenient time to come back. I'm not joking. I actually took my headphones off.
We didn't spoil anything, bro.
I'll never know.
All right, but that's a good thing because that means you're gonna play this game when it comes out.
Yeah.
Like, but you were not hyped on the original trailer. You were more Buns on the original trailer, right?
I didn't say Buns.
Okay.
It's almost like I could have a nuanced opinion about things.
Oh my god, we get it, man.
There is this is
the one you're allowed to do this. You know what I mean? I don't have to say hype or Buns about this.
No, you don't. You're right. No, you're right. Metroid gets the full grayscale.
So, yeah, I said it before. You go back and watch the other podcast. I don't know which number it is. Go find it. All right. Do some work for the first time in your life.
It's like motivational, demotivational, like inspiration from Hungry.
Yeah. So I thought the game looked not amazing. Maybe it looks better when you play it. Some games just look better when you're playing them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a weird effect, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's no way this game's going to be bad. You know, I'd be surprised if it was straight up bad.
Mm-hmm.
So this trailer does not affect me or anything because I'm not going to see any trailers. I'm not. The biggest thing about Metroid games is a surprise, at least for me, you know?
Yeah.
So why would you watch more trailers? There's like a million trailers. I get it why Nintendo's doing it, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, why do you just want to know everything before you play it? It's like, what's the point?
Yeah, it was funny because they mentioned that on the website they have like a volume. I guess it's like a blog or whatever for the game, and they talk about different things about the game, and there's like 8 of them. I'm like, I don't want to read this. Like, I want to go into this knowing as little as possible.
Yeah, so, Metroid is definitely like an experience game, you know? But the funny thing is, last week when Kyle was on, I forgot why we were even talking about this, but I was explaining how like I hate hype trains and I hate trailers now. Like I don't want to see a trailer for anything, especially not a first-party Nintendo game where I'm like, they've already won me over by making those games always consistently so good that I'm gonna get them. There's no day in that I wouldn't buy a Zelda game day one. It's just not happening. So, or a mainline Mario or a Metroid game or whatever. Like even Other M, it was disappointing by Metroid standards, but I still enjoyed that game overall. And so there's no way you can get worse than that. And so for me, I'm like, I hate trailers. But then I thought you were like not excited about this game because of the reveal trailer. And I'm like, man, Arhungry needs a good trailer for this game because the first trailer did not impress him. And the new trailers look so much better that it would have maybe fixed the problems you had with the first trailer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but who cares? I want to play it, so.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're going to play it, then it doesn't, you could not watch the trailers. But I guess my impression was that you were turned off. You know what I mean? Like, I thought you were just like, I'm not even going to play this new game.
Nah, I'm definitely going to play it. Even I am turned off.
Yeah. Just to complain about it.
Worst case scenario, this is the absolute worst case scenario, right? The game isn't that good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it does at least one thing interesting, and then other games take from that. And then, dude. That thing in Metroid Dread that was like kind of like good, but like the rest of the game was buns. There's this one indie game that did that, but way better.
Yeah.
There's like a ton of indie games in like this genre.
Yeah, indie games are just a love letter to Metroid, like as a collective.
Yeah, dude. In a way, like Samus has the hardest job out of any of the Nintendo characters right now because Zelda and Mario used to have competitors and he just slaughtered all of them, right? Like Sonic tried to be like, I'm going to do platforming. And then he's like, nah, bro. And he never let Sonic beat him ever. He doesn't have a single L from Sonic. And then Zelda, everyone who tries to copy Zelda games, there's actually only a few, like there actually aren't that many. It's like so hard to copy it that no one really succeeded. And Zelda doesn't even have any like competitors. And then you have Smash Brothers, like those games are generally not that good. And the ones that are good are the really small ones like Rivals and Slap City. Like the big ones like PlayStation All-Stars are just not good. So Smash lives on its own. But then Samus has all these, like Metroid has so much competition. Like you have Castlevania, which is amazing. Like so you could even say that some of those games are better than the Metroid games. And then you have all the indie games of the last like 10 years.
Some people argue even those indie games are better than some of them.
Yeah,
and are just straight up all better than the Metroid games.
Yeah, and that's not even like them being jerks. Like those games are really
feel.
really
that's
good.
How they feel. They think they like I can I can see why someone could play Hollow Knight and be like, this is the best. Like I get it.
For sure. Yeah, it's not undeserved. Like Metroid has like really hard, like big shoes to fill. Like now the series has been gone forever, and Super Metroid is still like top 3 of all time, like forever. It's like all right, now you got to compete with Super Metroid, but you also got to compete with 10 years of people copying Super Metroid and improving on it in a bunch of different ways, and like. I don't know if Metroid Dread's going to be that good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited.
I would be really surprised if it is. I would be happily surprised if it is. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. And for me, it doesn't even need to be as good as what I just described, but I'm just saying, like, that's how people are going to view it. Like, Zelda just has to be pretty good. It doesn't have a direct competitor. Metroid has 1 million, dude. 1 million. So it's pretty interesting.
It's just that Nintendo would not give us Metroid games. So everyone was like, all right, I'll make it myself. Literally, myself.
Yeah. Literally, one guy.
Sometimes it literally is one guy.
And then so is Environmental Station Alpha.
Yeah, right.
That's the guy that made Baba Is You, by the way. And more people probably know that one.
Yeah, Baba Is You is pretty popular. All right, so our next big topic, right after Metroid. All right, so I'm going to run through this really quickly as I can, and then we'll just go back and analyze it, like discuss like point by point, but I need to get through like the general things so people can follow along easily. So Nintendo announced that the Nintendo Switch Online is getting a Plus expansion pack. It's like a new membership with extra perks. And so in late October, they still didn't give us like an official date yet or official pricing. Nintendo Switch Online is getting this new membership that adds N64 games and Sega Genesis games. And of course, just like the NES and SNES games that they've added a while ago, this means you could play all these games that have multiplayer. You could play them online multiplayer. And they showed a little bit of a selection for it. The initial lineup is going to have Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Yoshi Story 64, Buns, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, hype, Winback, Mario Tennis, Dr. Mario 64, Sin and Punishment. And then later they showed it's going to get Majora's Mask, F-Zero X, Pokemon Snap, Mario Golf, Kirby the Crystal Shards, Paper Mario, and Banjo-Kazooie. So, and they didn't say this, but they'll put out Mario Party 1 through 3 months after you buy the new remake Superstars. They're not putting that on this like at day one. They want you to buy that $60 full price remake compilation thing. So anyway, but yeah, and then they also showed like with long rumored like new controllers for the Switch. They have a wireless N64 and a wireless Sega Genesis controller that you could buy to play these games. If you need to be a My Nintendo member, and then they cost $50 each. So it's pretty cool that they care about controllers because like bringing back some of these games is cool. We'll talk about that in a minute, but like I'm one of those nerds who really wants to play some of these games the way they were designed to be played, and having a controller like that is important. So, so yeah, that's the general stuff. Let's just go one by one. The first thing I want to talk about is like what are you guys' thoughts on paying extra for this instead of it being included in the service already? Like,
Literally trash.
Do you personally find it to be too much to ask? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say it depends. Like honestly, I'm leaning towards it probably should have just been in the service to begin with for free. Just like, hey, we added more games like they did with the SNES games.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like, it depends how much the expansion. If it's like, yeah, $1 more, you get more games. Like, all right, that's not terrible, but I still would like it to be free.
Yeah.
My big question is like, for like family plans, how's that going to work? Because I share a family plan, so I end up having to pay like $6 a year for this.
AJ is a family man.
Yeah, and so how does whoever owns like the family, like the head family member, do they have to apply or like pay extra for the extra games, or can you do it individually on a family plan?
I'm sure that it's going to be like, hey, do you want to buy the bonus extra expansion family plan? And it'll just be like, it'll come down to adding like $2 per person. You know, like you could have 8 people on a family plan. It'll probably be like $16 or $20 more for the overall thing. And then you're dividing that by 8. Like it's probably just going to be that. But I mean, I don't know. Like, again, I agree with you where it's like it's hard to kind of have an opinion because we actually don't know how expensive it's going to be. But I'm assuming it's going to be a significant. If it was just $1, I don't even think they'd bother, dude. It's going to be like $5 to $10 to $15 to $20 like minimum in my opinion.
Wait, we're forgetting something. There's also Sega Genesis games.
And there's Sega Genesis games, yeah.
Hold on. Before we go into Sega Genesis games,
yes,
that is absolute salami.
Salami.
Bro, there is a collection of 50 games you can buy right now. The Sega Genesis collection.
Now. That's true.
How much is it?
I forgot. But
no, it's actually not. It's not that expensive. It's like $40 or something.
I don't know. I got it for less than that. I got it on sale.
Yeah.
And now those games are mine. By the way, they're not just like on Steam. They give you like a folder of games that you could they give you the ROM. Like
yeah, right.
You can use you can like put it on your phone. You know.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah, they're your ROMs now.
Yeah. Instead of taking down ROM sites, Sega's like, all right, we'll just sell you the ROMs. Here you go. Do whatever you want with them now. That's pretty hype.
So you know.
Yeah.
That is salami.
So. Let me see if like this makes sense because one of the things that I like about this is that I bought a lot of games on the Wii Virtual Console. I bought a lot of Sega games specifically. I probably bought more Sega games than I did any other type of game because like I already own a lot of the N64 games that I wanted and the Super Nintendo games. There were more Sega games I grew up with like Gunstar Heroes, Streets of Rage, etc., whatever. And if you think about it, like let's say it's $20 more, right? And you don't have a family plan. You're just a regular guy. This is a lot of games that you have access to for the amount that you would have paid to buy only 3 or 4 of them. And like you're not really going to own it anyway, because unlike the ROM thing where you buy the Sega collection on Steam, every time you buy a game on a Nintendo platform, it's locked to that platform. So in a way, this is kind of cheaper than the Virtual Console, and you get the online functionality. So I don't know. The only reason I have a problem with this is because you could argue that right now Nintendo Switch Online is really, really bare bones. And so from that perspective, I'm like, I feel like I'm paying for like the bare minimum, and then you're charging me more instead of just making it feel like it's even. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like
that's exactly how I feel right now.
yeah, so I think that's how I personally feel is like, damn, I kind of think this should just be included because I'm paying this amount a year. But when you do the math, you're kind of like, all right, well, was I going to play through all of, Sin and Punishment, or like Mario 64 again for the millionth time, or, Majora's Mask? Like, I probably wouldn't play through those games all the way to completion again on my Switch, but having access to them so that you can mess around with them without having to pay like $20 to buy them outright. I mean, it works out. I think there's certain people this is going to work out for. I just think for me personally, I'm like, dude, I'm already feel like I'm paying too much for what I'm getting. Even though the Switch Online is like, to be fair, it's like way cheaper than PlayStation and Xbox. But PlayStation and Xbox give you literal free games, like full price $60 games for free.
Yeah, that's really
every
good.
month. Every month. So you're getting like
month.
yeah, exactly. So you're getting actually way more back. And this is definitely not going to add up to that. Like these old games don't add up to that value. So
Yeah,
I'm conflicted about it. I mean, for me personally, it definitely is a little bit of a charge.
dude,
That being said, I'm buying it.
Yeah, I remember one time, just going back to the PlayStation Plus thing. I remember one time we were at our show producer Riz's house, and we just spent like an hour looking through his PS4 libraries of how many free games he just
Yeah.
like picked up over the years, and he just hasn't touched. But there's like
Yeah.
a lot of games.
Hey, I've
Yeah,
touched them.
dude, I had PlayStation Plus for like 3 months only because I just wanted to play one game online for a couple months. And I got, when you look at my PS Plus, my PlayStation now, you're like, there's a million free games that I got from that. I was just like, wow, this is insane.
Fun fact: I basically steal Riz's account.
Oh yeah.
So he has a bunch of games that he's like not played because of that PS Plus thing, right? But I've played them.
Yeah.
So they're being put to good use,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, pricing wise, I think most people I have a problem with it, but at the same time, it's also like, it's hard to compare it to PS Plus and Xbox because I have a friend who has the games with gold thing where they give you the free games, and he's like, dude, these games are horrible. Like consistently bad games. PlayStation Plus gives you like actual good games. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake was literally free, and like
That's
their
crazy
biggest
to me.
games. Yeah, exactly. Like, and that was like a year after it came out. Like,
Yeah,
it was like
it's not
pretty.
even...
Yeah, and like Street Fighter V was free. Like A+ games are free on PlayStation. Xbox is just like they don't even have A+ games on that platform, so it doesn't matter. But the only thing I can say to defend this is that these are some of the best games ever made. Like it's like they know they could charge more for this because the games are that good to a certain demographic that really want to play Star Fox 64 and Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And some of these games, it's the first time you're ever going to be able to play them portably or online multiplayer. Like being able to play Mario Tennis online multiplayer, like I wouldn't buy that game, but the fact that it's there and I can mess around with it with AJ, my good old pal that I play every online video game with, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like I kind of feel like there's pros and cons to this approach. And me personally, I'm going to pay the extra because for me, like, dude, Banjo-Kazooie and Paper Mario, I never played those games to completion. I've been waiting for them to bring it to a modern console. And like, win back? I know, dude, to be honest with me, do you guys even know what win back is?
Literally never heard of it. When
I
saw it show up in the trailer, I'm like, wait, is that the N64 version of Resident Evil 2?
Yeah.
Like, never heard of this game before in my life.
What's to say is Leon?
Hungry, what'd you think of? Did you know what win back is?
So like when I saw someone say, "Oh, win back's on this thing," I thought literally they were abbreviating. I'm like, "What's that? Like short for?" Like,
yeah. So
that answers your question. I did not know what that was.
So to be fair, even I don't really know what it is. But here's the thing. when I was a kid, right, I had GoldenEye. It was my first N64 game. I was obsessed with it. And then when I finished it, I was like, I want to play another game that's like this. So I went to the store with my mom, and I'm trying to buy an N64 game, and I see this game called Winback, and I see a dude on the cover with a gun. And I'm like, all right, this is it. The guy's a gun. This is probably just like James Bond. And then I never got to play it because my mom was like, if you've listened to some of the old episodes where I detail my mom's behavior around the GoldenEye, you'll know that this was not happening. So I ended up having to buy, I think I bought Diddy Kong Racing instead, which also ended up being amazing. But ever since then, I've like never played this game. And I was like looking in the magazines at the time, like I like really wanted to play this game. So the fact that this is in the first lineup and no one even knows what it is hilarious to me. It's like Ocarina of Time, Winback, and Mario Tennis. Like, what? Why'd you even pick this? So I think that's cool too, because like one of the other cool things they do with the NES Online app and the SNES Online app is like they try to show you games that maybe you couldn't have access to or are really obscure. Sin and Punishment is like
shovelware.
That's actually
true. Adding shovelware.
Yeah, I mean it's like obscure is a very kind way of saying this game is buns. But
Bro,
Sin and Punishment is a good game.
Tough enough, like
I want to play that game just because it reminds me of Kid Icarus Uprising, and it's like the closest thing I'm gonna get to a Kid Icarus Uprising game. So I'll give it a shot.
Sin and Punishment's a solid game.
Sin and Punishment. I actually do want to play that game. I actually do want to play. I actually do like real shooters. But whatever.
And game preservation, bro. Banjo-Kazooie. Dude, did you see
on Nintendo?
Did you see that tweet where someone tweeted out like a week ago or a couple of days ago, like, all people want is Banjo-Kazooie on Switch. Why won't they just do that? And then Rare retweeted it saying, who's going to tell him? Like, who's going to tell him? I can't believe the official Rare Twitter actually just flamed a guy like that. Like, that is so funny. But yeah, Banjo-Kazooie, I can't believe they actually got this. Like, I never played this game in completion, even though I own it. I got it like later when I was like super late into the N64 life cycle, so I moved on from it. Everybody I know loves it. I really know I'm going to like it. So this is how I'm going to play it. And
I feel like I'm going to love that game, and I haven't played it yet. Like, that game feels right up my alley.
I heard the Wii version. It's not the Wii version, but the Wii like title in that series is like mega broken.
Wait.
You talking Sin and Punishment?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
we're talking about Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh.
I was confused.
Pay attention, my guy.
Sorry.
Yeah, Sin and Punishment. I played the Wii version. That game was cool too. It's not broken. It's just it was a little overrated, but it was.
I heard it was broken, and I think you just like underrating it mad hard.
I also want to try that one.
Yeah, I can let you borrow it. I have it.
Nice. I didn't even have to ask.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, but one of the other cool things is if they have Banjo-Kazooie, technically GoldenEye is possible. And if they have GoldenEye, online multiplayer.
It is a different story.
Online multiplayer for GoldenEye, bro.
Dude, they gotta pay the rights
pick Odd Job
for the likeness of whatever actors are in that movie.
Dude, they'll figure it out, man. They'll figure that out.
The thing is that they won't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you know that there's like a full remake of that game? Like full remake, like for the Xbox like 360? Like it's done. It's completely done.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show one time, yeah. I think you weren't on that episode, but we talked about it because someone leaked it, and then they said that what happened was that you have to get Nintendo's rights for that game because like they don't own the likeness of Bond, but they own part of the game design copyright. And so what happened was that Microsoft wanted to make it for the Xbox Arcade on the 360, and Nintendo okayed it, right? And then when the game was almost done, someone at Nintendo that was higher up was like, "Who okayed that?" And they were like, then they were quoted as saying the game was finished. Microsoft had paid off the people who owned the rights to the Bond likenesses and everything, all the hoops you need to jump through. They did all of it, and it was all clear to go. And then one of the higher ups at Nintendo quote said, "A Nintendo game will never be on an Xbox." End of story. And then that thing was shut down. But it was finished and it got leaked online. And you could play the whole thing. So I don't know.
What if Nintendo was big braiding this? Like, hey, what if we tell them yes and then we say no at the last minute? And then
we just spend all that money.
Yeah, make it waste all this time.
Yeah, then Bill Gates is bankrupt the next day. That's what they thought was gonna happen. So the only other thing I want to talk about with this N64 thing is would you guys rather have had an N64 Classic instead of this, like the mini consoles they made for the Super Nintendo and the NES? Because like after seeing this, I was kind of thinking about it, and I'm like, is this a better idea, or would it have been better? Because no one complains about the SNES and NES Classic, but everyone complains about the SNES and NES app on your Switch. Do you see what I'm saying?
It's because it's like supposed to like be enough, and it's not enough for like the um being online, right? Like the online service. It's supposed to be like, well, it really should be free. Well, here's this instead, you know, like.
Yeah.
And the SNES Classic, it's like, first of all, you get two controllers. Like that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like you get everything attached to it, you know. And then like if you want the SNES controller for like the Switch or the N64, you have to pay extra.
Yeah, but
You
it
know,
does work
it's
with your regular controllers that you already have. It's not like you
yeah,
need
but
to
still,
buy those controllers for this.
you know what I mean. And it's like,
Yeah.
and it's not like you keep it. Like, my SNES Classic, like I'm just mine forever, you know.
Yeah.
And that's not the only thing I can do with it, you know. But maybe sometimes I wouldn't like that. But yeah.
So sometimes I wonder if that argument is even good argument because
But
like
here's the other thing, right?
yeah.
Um, that controller that comes with it, it's like I can put it into like the Wii, like the Wii remote, and it'll
Mhm.
work. So if I have like a SNES virtual console game right on my Wii, I could just be like, okay, I'm gonna play this now again, but with my
Right.
SNES
Yeah, it is the
controller.
same port. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, um the only reason I like this approach better is because I like the idea of the classic systems, but at the end of the day, I just want to play everything on my Switch. Like the convenience of being able to just dock it, take it with me, like tabletop mode. Like that sounds like so cheesy, but for real, like I actually do all those things. Like there's a moment in life for all of those things. Like I'm on an airplane, I don't feel like holding this thing up to my face. I put it in tabletop mode. Like I actually do everything that that system can do, and I just want one system. And also like these things are going to be they're going to add more games. It's not going to be like the SNES Classic where like you're locked onto that unless you're a pirate, you're locked onto the library that they gave you. Whereas with this, they're still going to add a bunch of stuff. And like how there's the shovelware for the NES and SNES that we joke about that they keep adding to the apps on the Switch. The shovelware for N64, I'm actually curious about that because that's my era of games. Like N64 is my favorite console. So like I kind of want to play those shovelware games, man. Like it's gonna be so funny to play those old bad games on that thing. So the fact that they can keep adding stuff to me is kind of cool. And then there's the online multiplayer stuff. Like this is the 4-player. This is the console that invented 4-player games, and so I think it's way cooler than buying a classic console that has a limited library, and then you'd have to maybe buy the 2 extra controllers. I think it's cooler that I could just have it on here, play it online, and Smash Brothers 64 online, like here or Mario Golf or any of these games, F-Zero X, like I don't know. To me, that's better. I would
Imagine
rather
the
have it like
Smash
this.
64 online is like godlike.
Yeah, it has rollback.
Not even
Yeah.
that roll. Are you just
Yo, if
really?
they randomly added rollback to Mario
Yeah.
60 or Smash 64 online, that'd be crazy.
Because I've
Yo,
heard
that'd be
like the
funny.
online for the SNES games are like actually pretty good.
It's amazing. It feels like nothing. I mean, it should. It's like literally a megabyte. Those games are so small, but
Yeah.
it feels great.
I played just on a whim one day I played Mario Kart, like the SNES Mario Kart with a friend on Nintendo Online, and it felt good. Like
Yeah.
Super Mario Kart.
oh yeah, I don't know the name of it. It's just the
Yeah.
Mario Kart on the
I'm just
SNES.
saying, does it count for the Super Mario series? It's in the name.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, man. Is it a
But
spin-off?
hopefully we get Diddy Kong Racing because I want to play that online. So if they're showing the rare, they already showed Banjo Kazooie. That means we can get most of those rare games. I think.
More Banjo.
Dude, F-Zero is actually a lot of fun. I downloaded that on the Wii Virtual Console. It's actually like a lot of fun, and I never got to play multiplayer with people. So
we're playing that, bro.
F-Zero X is multiplayer?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
F-Zero
one of the-
GX It also runs at 60 frames
Yeah,
per
I was gonna
second.
bring
If
that
I'm
up. It's
not,
one of the very few N64 games that runs at a full 60 frames per second because you need it because you're going so
yeah,
fast.
yeah, dude, that game is sick. I can't wait to play that. I never played that, but I love F-Zero GX, so like I know I'm probably gonna love that. This is like again like the NES and SNES classic. I'm sorry, the NES and SNES app for the Switch. I already had like played those games a million times on my Wii, and then I got the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. So those games are not as appealing to me on the Switch. But the N64 era, like these games are hard to get now, dude. And they did not port these a million places like they did the other ones. Like at best, you have remakes, like on the 3DS and stuff. So, or the Mario 3D collection, which are like, now apparently you're not gonna be able to get that anywhere. So I think this is sick. And I'm happy to pay extra for game preservation and like just having that on my Switch. It's
This
not.
isn't
I'm
really
probably not gonna feel
preservation.
it. What's that?
It's also kind of not preservation though.
Yeah, because you're saying
Yeah.
it'll go away eventually.
Yeah.
But
Eventually
you know
they
what
end the service.
the thing is that this is to be determined. People are still looking at this as like the Wii and Wii U eShop, where they had to
But it's
port
worse
games
though, because
again.
I can plug in my Wii right now and still play it. Right?
Yeah, for sure. But um, the thing is that the way that they structured this new their new ports is so that they can easily port it from one device to the next,
You say that
unlike those
now.
Wii ones. I mean, yeah, that's what they said. I'm not sure 100%. I'm not saying I
So
disagree,
I
but
don't buy that.
Yeah.
They have no good record of that at all. Like
Because
yeah,
at
like
yeah,
all.
from the
yeah,
Wii to the Wii U, the library got smaller, and from the Wii U to the online service they have now, the library got
yeah,
even smaller.
It
yep.
doesn't even have like a 10% of what the Wii had.
Yeah, and the 3DS has games that neither of those had that just are on the 3DS. So we'll see. But I remember like a long time ago, Iwata saying like our next console, we're designing it so that it doesn't have that problem of being locked from the other consoles. Like it's going to be easier to transition stuff. And it's literally an NVIDIA chipset. Like it literally is a very, very standard chipset. But we got to move on. So we're going to go through more quick headlines. Hyper Buns. Shadowrun Trilogy. It's a cyberpunk RPG tactile game. I'm going to speak in Nintendo for all the uncultured nerds who don't know games outside of the Nintendo verse. This is like Mario Rabbids gameplay, okay? It's basically like XCOM. For you guys that
Oh,
don't
man.
speak, you only speak Nintendo, that's how you're framing reference. But it's an RPG, it's cyberpunky. The graphics, it's an old game. It doesn't look that great actually. But I heard these games are really cool and you're getting 3 games in one. I'm gonna say this is Buns for me. I'm not interested in this game. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Buns, I'm not interested.
Yeah, hungry.
I'm not gonna play this on Switch.
Right. So Buns.
Kind of. I mean, I do want to play the Shadowrun games. I've heard they're pretty good. So
Yeah, I've heard they're great. So if that's your genre, check it out. Castlevania Advance Collection. This game got leaked a million years ago, finally announced. It's out today for Switch and every other platform. It's the 3 Game Boy Advance Castlevania games and Castlevania Dracula X, which was a reimagined version of Rondo of Blood. And Dracula X originally came out in the SNES, and this is
why did
like
they do that?
you play as Ricky Belmont. All right, this is the guy from Smash Brothers, Mr. Smash Bro, who down aired a Pikmin. This guy. Now, so
Never
this came out right
forget.
after the direct. Yeah, super. Um,
Why did they
yeah,
do
this
that?
is like this is a dream come true port. Like this is a collection of like these Castlevania games on the GBA. Symphony of the Night came out on the PlayStation 1, and it's like the best game on the console. It's one of the best games ever. And then the sequels to that game are these 3 Castlevania games on the Game Boy Advance. And then you also get Dracula X, which was like right before Symphony of the Night. Um, this is a sick collection, dude. It has like all these new features where you could like rewind a little bit, and it has the save states, and it has all these like exclusive artwork that these you can't get these games anywhere else. They were never on 3DS. They were like never ported anywhere else. Um, so yeah, between the original Castlevania collection that came out on Switch a while ago and this, you cannot play Symphony of the Night again because that game has never been on a Nintendo console. It's been on an iPhone, it's been on Xbox, it's been on every PlayStation. It's never been on a Nintendo console. I do not understand why I can't play that game, dude. Oh my god.
It's kind
But
of messed
anyway,
up.
PS4.
yeah, Hyper Buns. I'm going with super hype on this one. This is like such a good collection, and it's awesome that it's out now.
It's out now on everything, isn't it? It's not for Xbox,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Oh, really? I thought it was
Yeah.
everything. I know for sure it's out on PlayStation.
It's coming to Xbox, but it's not out on Xbox. They were like,
Gotcha.
"Hey, sorry about that. It's not ready for Xbox yet."
Yeah.
It was really weird. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's insane. So
I saw that, like the
Hyper
Konami
Bun.
Twitter account posted that, So
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Like, sorry, nerds.
Yeah. One thing I'll say is that Dracula X? For what? Who wanted
What
that?
do you mean? Yeah. It's like the
bro,
people look at it as inferior to Rondo of Blood, right?
people literally make fun of that game. Like, yeah, that game's crap. Like,
Yeah.
like it's just like, wow, like they just butchered one of the best Castlevania games ever. One of the best action platformers ever. They just butchered
Yeah.
it. So why the hell would you want to play that? And
What
they're
is-
like, we're gonna port it. Like, you have Rondo of Blood right there.
What did
Yeah.
that come out for?
Rondo of Blood came out on some console that nobody owns.
Yeah.
And then they made us a SNES version, and the SNES version is like leagues below it.
It's garbage, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, because wasn't Rondo of Blood was on a disc-based system, like an early disc-based system.
It was
think,
a
right?
TurboGrafx 16 CD.
Yeah, and so they couldn't even put it on another console at that time besides the PlayStation.
Yeah. And then they didn't put it on the PlayStation. So
And they didn't even do that. They just made a better game and put that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
better is arguable, but whatever.
Yeah.
Because some people are like mad that like people like. I mean,
Symphony
not
of
that
the
they
Night.
like Symphony of the Night, but that Symphony of the Night was that big because there's a lot of people that swear by Rondo, but they say it's the best action platform ever made. Like
Yeah.
this is not like an uncommon opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha. Right.
And it was just it never had a chance. It never had a chance to prove what it's worth. Because you have a TurboGrafx 16 CD.
Yeah. It's like, do you have a TurboGrafx? No. Oh, well, you also
have the
needed the
CD
TurboGrafx
attachment.
CD attachment for it. Like, this console is obscure as hell. And this is like in the 90s when, Nintendo was in full swing, Sega's doing really well, and then PlayStation's like just starting out. Like, why would you ever buy that? Yeah, that's horrible.
Did that
It's
game
also- Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead,
did,
Hungry.
did that game ever get ported to
Yes,
anything
once.
else?
Once. To
Like
the
the good
PSP in Japan.
Oh.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
game
that's
had no
bad.
chance. No chance at all.
That's so bad because it's apparently amazing. And then, of course, again, if you play Smash, this is where Richter's from. Because I remember when Richter was shown for Smash, I'm like, who is that? I thought I knew Castlevania really well. And I'm like, I do not know who that is. Like, I know Simon and I know Alucard. And I know, like, the guys from the Game Boy Advance and the guys from the DS, like Soma and those guys. And I'm like, how do I know 20 Castlevania characters and that's not one of them? Like, whatever. But yeah, then now it makes sense because apparently that game's supposed to be amazing that nobody played.
Yeah.
But yeah,
everyone's
AJ, what do
played
you
it
think?
some way.
Yeah,
Hyper
you
Buns.
can find a way to play it. But anyway, I think it's hype just like because of the extra features. Like they give you the extra artwork, and I really love looking at like artwork for video games, especially like sprite based games, like older games, because then you see like what was supposed to look like compared to like, what's actually in the game.
Yeah.
And
Also,
you can like choose like
yeah.
different versions. Like that's really cool to me.
Oh yeah, they have like you could literally play like the European version or like the PAL version of like every game. They have like
cool.
that's insane that they have that. Yeah,
It's actually
people
not
actually
that insane, but it's cool.
Yeah, it shouldn't be insane, but unfortunately that's not the standard. Like
Yeah.
I remember when the Mario 3D collection came out, and you know how like everyone was shitting on it because they were like, this is like so bare bones and so bare minimum. Everyone was comparing it to the Castlevania collection that came out around that time, or like it came out kind of recently, and the Castlevania collection has all these things in it and all this artwork, and the Mario collection is like, here's these 3 games and the soundtracks, and that's it. Like no bonus stuff. So yeah, the Castlevania collections are just always above and beyond. Like they've been so good with that. So don't say Konami's complete garbage because at least at this, they at least know how to do this.
They're complete garbage. This is just like,
this is the
yo,
bare
we're gonna keep
minimum.
recycling stuff. We're gonna keep recycling stuff until
Yeah,
somebody
but
dies.
how
Dude.
bad everyone is so bad at recycling stuff that at least I'm appreciating. Hey, you recycled that pretty good. You put it in a clear bag. You put it out in the blue bin. You didn't put it in with the trash. I appreciate that.
Everyone complains about Nintendo, and really, there's like way worse companies. And Konami is a million times that.
Yeah, Konami's what people think Nintendo is, but yeah. So then we go on to ActRaiser Renaissance, which is a remake of a classic SNES action platformer slash base builder game, and that game's also out now, like as of the direct. It looks pretty cool, and I've always heard great things about ActRaiser. And if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, I'm pretty sure the guy who did the soundtrack for ActRaiser is the same dude who did Streets of Rage, Yuzo Koshiro.
Well, that's hype.
So, dude, that guy's so sick. Like anytime he even did some remixes for Smash. So he's sick. But yeah, this game looks pretty cool. I'll probably check it out at some point. I'll say this is a hype. Like the fact that this was like a random remake. I don't know if like you're a fan of the original, maybe you'll hate this, but like for me, I thought it was a pretty hype announcement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, and I really like was surprised because I know a lot of people love ActRaiser. Like,
Yeah.
just on like the YouTube verse, like every classic YouTuber, right? Like they make videos on classic games. Like everyone just praises that game really hard. So,
Yeah.
that's you know
That's a hype and not a bun, if I'm
not a bun.
translating you properly.
All
I'm
right.
hearing a lot of hype.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm going with Buns because I've literally never heard of this game before in my life. Like, never in a million years have I heard of this
Does
game.
not watch
Yeah.
classic video game YouTubers apparently.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. All right. And then we have Deltarune Chapter 2 came out after the direct. You know, Deltarune is like the sequel to Undertale. It's actually an anagram of Undertale. You could spell Deltarune with the letters of Undertale. But yeah, that actually looks really cool. And the music, bro. This guy, bro.
Toby Fox.
Toby Fox with this man needs to just stop making games and just make an album. This guy slaps, bro. Like just the little snippet that was in the direct, I'm like, how come every song I've heard, I haven't played Undertale yet, but every song I've heard somewhere else, I'm like, bro, this music is amazing. It's so good. He's great. So yeah, this looked really cool. I'm gonna say it's hype because it's pretty hype. Everyone has been talking about Deltarune all week, even before the direct. But yeah, what did you guys think?
I've now played Undertale.
Yeah, I haven't played Undertale or Deltarune, but other people seemed excited, so I'm just going with hype and be like, good for you guys.
Yeah. What I've heard is that if you're a fan of Earthbound, Undertale is like a spiritual successor. It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where like, Nintendo wasn't making a Metroid game, so people started making their own. Undertale is supposed to be like an Earthbound game. And if you like look at them side by side, you'll be like, oh, I see it. And there's a lot of deep lore about the connections between Undertale and, Earthbound, but that's for another podcast. All right.
That's
On
just
yeah. On to Hot Wheels Unleashed racing game coming out September 30th. You kind of build tracks and stuff. That's a Buns from me, my guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Buns.
All right. Hungry? I'm gonna autofill that one for you. Siri wants to autocorrect that one to just Buns. All right. Jesus Christ, man, you're killing me. Surviving the Aftermath. It's a real-time strategy game. Comes out holiday 2021. That looks decent, but again, I'm not that interested. I kind of feel bad because, like, as we're going through this, we're not that interested in any of these third-party games for the most part. And, like, that's kind of the problem with Nintendo is, like, we're just, like, waiting to talk about Metroid and talk about all the other big Nintendo, games. And then we kind of just don't care as much about these other smaller games,
Come on, man. It's Hot Wheels.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, dude, I'm sorry, but I cannot care about Hot Wheels, bro. All right.
I couldn't even bother to say anything. I was just like, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what, to be fair, this isn't a big topic, but for Hungry, it's a big topic. Shin Megami Tensei 5. It's a weeby ass anime nerd JRPG
It's not
digital
pre-order.
pre-order.
It's just Japanese.
Digital pre-order is up now. The game comes out November 12th. Everything I've seen from that game looks hype, man. So
That
that game
game
looks hype.
actually looks insanely good. Like
Yeah.
game of the year. Like this is my potential game of the year for sure. Like it looks so good. So
So that's
good.
definitely hype.
This is
AJ, what
like
do you think? I
beyond
don't
hype,
know.
but you know,
I don't.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to limit myself, you know what I mean? I
Yeah. I
don't want to
feel
get too
you.
hyped up, but then I hate the game, you know?
Yeah. I know AJ. You like love. You're into JRPGs and stuff. So what do you think about this
Yeah.
one?
I'm gonna say hype based on the fact that I might play it down the line when I get through a list of other JRPGs I want to finish. So,
Gotcha.
hype but postponed.
a pending hype.
Yeah, pending. Hype pending. Well, let's
Yeah,
go with
hype
that.
pending. The transaction is pending. All right. Wreckfest, chaotic racing game, comes out fall 21. That's Buns from me, my
Why are there
guy.
so many racing games?
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah, is
man.
that
They're
the
like,
third one? Yeah, it is because
yeah,
there's
Dude,
Final
there's like
Fantasy, Hot
4 or 5.
Wheels.
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like they
There's
don't make
Mario
Mario
Kart
Kart
somewhere in
9,
there. On
so
like
we
the
will. All right, Arcade Archives, Pac-Man and Xevious is out now. All right, those are cool because like again, it's cool when you have access to like the classic version of old games, like the arcade versions. So this is pretty hype. I'm not. I already have like a million versions of Pac-Man, so I can't in good conscience buy this shit. But I think it's a hype thing that's there. Hyper Buns.
uh always it's always hype to get these kind of things. So
Yeah.
yeah. I'll go with hype. Pac-Man's
Okay.
cool. The other arcade game, I forget what it was called already, but
Xevious. Yeah.
Xevious. Yeah, I played that once or a couple times. You
It's
ever
a
have those
shoot 'em.
like
the plug
arcade
and plays.
controllers that you would plug into a
The
TV and
plug
it would
and
have like
plays.
5
Oh
games on
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I had those a couple of them as a kid, and
That's
I played
hilarious.
that game through that, and it was hype. So I'm going with hype.
All right, and then we have Rune Factory 5, which is a farm simulator slash JRPG. Comes out March 22nd, 2022. This game looks pretty cool. I'll give it a hype. It was a pretty cool, like, it's too weeby for me. Like, I'm not gonna play it, but I can admire that. Like, I know a lot of people are gonna be into that, and I know a lot of Rune Factory fans and stuff. And I think it's an interesting idea. So at least I'll give it that. So it's pretty cool. Hyper Buns, AJ.
I'm gonna say hype because I thought the company that made these games went out of business. So I thought this series is dead, but I guess it's not dead. So that's hype.
Hungry, Hyper Buns.
Buns.
Buns. Hungry does not like any kind of farming simulations of any kind. All right.
Nah.
So then we
I
get on
like
to
the
our next big
farming games that
topic.
don't involve actual like that's the core of the game. Like I want to set
Yeah.
up a farm and I'm gonna set up a farm in Minecraft. That's pretty fun, you know?
Yeah. I'm going to invent a farm. All right. So our next big topic. We're watching the direct. And man, dude, Miyamoto shows up. And
Oh,
I was like, dude, I haven't seen him in so long in a direct. Like, normally I don't really care. Like, he'll just show up and I'm like, oh, cool, Miyamoto. But this time I was like, it's Miyamoto. It's like, holy crap, man. It's been so long since I've seen him, man. So he came out and he wants to talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie, animated movie, which is coming out next year in partnership with Illumination Studios, which is famous for Despicable Me and the Minions. They announced the movie will be out holiday 2022, and he wanted to announce the voice acting cast. So this is the most talked about thing about this direct is this the cast for this movie. Super Mario will be played by Chris Pratt, famous for Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's the main character in Jurassic World. I don't know his name in that
And
movie.
Parks and Rec.
And Parks and Rec, yeah.
That's
Uh,
definitely where he got big.
Yeah, that's like kind of what launched him into movies too. Princess Peach will be played by Anya Taylor Joy. She's famous from like Queen's Gambit, which was really popular last year. And Luigi is being played by Charlie Day. He's famous for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Bowser is being voice acted by Jack Black, famous for everything. If you don't know who Jack Black is,
yeah.
just stop listening. I don't even need to tell you who Jack Black is. Okay.
Like I'm not big in the movies and like stuff, so I don't know a lot of these actors, but I know Jack Black. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a good pick.
Uh,
I think he's the best pick honestly.
Yeah. And then Toad, I'm tight he's even in this movie, but of course he is. Toad is going to be voiced by Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to make sure that you know which one of the two. He's the bald, taller one of the two.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then Donkey Kong is going to be played by Seth Rogen from Superbad, Knocked Up, a million other movies. And Charles Martinet, who's been doing the voice of Mario, Luigi, and Wario, and all of those characters, he's going to be doing surprise cameos in the movie, but he's not, playing Mario and stuff. So this is like a big thing that everyone's been talking about. Mostly they've been talking about like Chris Pratt is not Italian, and so he shouldn't be playing Mario.
Honestly, the first time I heard that was from you, so
yeah.
I kept seeing it on my Twitter feed. I should have just copy and pasted it to you guys. Like people would talk about this all day. Like this is. Then again, it's only just my Twitter feed. I hate when someone sees something on their Twitter feed 3 times and they go, "Everybody's talking about this." Like it could have just been 3 people, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, for me personally, like some people have really strong opinions one way or the other, and for me, it's like I need to see a trailer. Like I don't know if this is gonna be good or bad based off of this. Like I remember, you guys already know, I'm a huge Batman fan, and like when they announced Heath Ledger was gonna be the Joker, I was like, the dude from the rom-coms, that's gonna be trash because that's the only thing.
Team movie.
He was in God, I forgot what that movie was called.
Not another team movie.
No, it wasn't that one. It was
Wasn't he in that?
It was like 10 Things I Hate About You or something like that.
It wasn't that movie.
Yeah, and so I was like, there's no way this guy could be the Joker. And then he absolutely bodied that role. You know what I mean? And so you can't like go like, oh, Chris Pratt is Star-Lord. Chris Pratt is Star-Lord. He's not going to be a good Mario. You have no idea until you see him do it. Like I have no
Chris
clue.
Rock as Mario.
I would love to see that.
That'd be funny just on its own, you know?
But yeah, what did you guys think when you saw this cast list? I don't know what your impression was.
My impression was I feel like Jack Black, good pick for Bowser. Like,
yeah,
he could definitely have fun with the role, and I feel like if you're gonna do a Mario movie, you need to be someone who can have fun with a role like that.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a good pick, but I don't know. It's so weird. I think it's gonna be weird, like hearing other voices for these characters. Like I'm so used to like Peach's voice in the game, even though it changed a lot, or like Mario, especially Mario's voice. I'm so used to Mario's voice and being like one word or like phrases, and now Mario can have dialogue.
Yeah,
like how's that gonna sound? Like this is gonna be weird.
This is why I regret saying I hate trailers, because now for something like this, I'm like, I need a trailer. Like, there's no way I know just based off of this. Like, I'm not used to looking at Nintendo characters and thinking about their casting. Like, this is new for us. You know what I mean? Like, this is like Ryan Reynolds playing Pikachu was different because there's a million Pikachus. So they could sound like whatever. And even in that movie, they found a way to make it so that he's not really talking. Like, there's spoilers at the end, but whatever, you can watch that movie. And with this, I'm like, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I just don't know. Until I see it, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. But one of the things that worries me a little bit is, like, again, we're not used to these characters talking. And one of the things that Miyamoto said is, like, when he introduced Chris Pratt, he's like, Mario will be talking a lot in this movie. Direct quote from the direct. So I'm a little worried, bro. Like, I don't want him to, like, what if they just ruin Mario? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Link and Mario have not really talked. Like, Mario has said like little phrases, but he doesn't talk like a lot. And now he's going to be his own character and talk a lot. And I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'm going to be honest.
Do you remember the Mario RPGs where he would have like just weird Italian gibberish? Him and Luigi would just talk to each other like that.
Oh yeah,
dude. Honestly, would you want a whole movie of that?
No, man.
I think that would be funny.
I think I would. Yeah.
I think
honestly,
at this
like
point,
that'd be funny gag just to like sneak in there. Like you just hear one of them talking on the phone and you don't actually hear what they're saying. You just hear that playing over.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's
so funny.
So, fun fact: Chris Pratt was actually the guy in the Lego Movie, like the main character.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, okay. That makes you
And
feel better.
Charlie Day was also in the Lego Movie.
was he really?
Yeah, like a lot of these,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
every single person on this list has like a first of all, they all have comedy backgrounds. Like Seth Rogen, obviously, Jack Black, obviously, Michael Key from Key and Peele. They all have comedy backgrounds except for maybe Anya Taylor Joy, the Peach character. And Peach is not really that comedic anyway, so it probably doesn't matter. So I think this movie is trying to be really funny, and that might save it because if it's really goofy, you're not going to give a crap that Mario talks a lot. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's just weird for me to think about Mario, like Chris Pratt saying a million things as Mario. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's
Yeah.
gonna be great, but this is new
Well,
territory
I've
for
got a few
Nintendo.
things to say. Right, I've held back a little bit, let you guys get it out, but I
Yeah,
got a few things to say.
Go
This
ahead.
movie is just like, to me, is like the last straw of animation voice acting. Like, I am like actually just done with animation voice acting. It's all started with Toy Story, and this isn't me making fun of Toy Story, right? Perfectly cast movie, right?
yeah,
But everyone was like, Tom Hanks, like, and then like ever since then, if you're not a big name actor, you're not going to be a big name voice actor,
right.
And
Yeah,
this is mostly true for American made animation, right? Because as far as I know, at least in Japan, like voice acting is a huge gig. It's a
yeah,
it's a huge gig, and they're just famous voice actors, not famous actors. Well, they're not famous actors, right? But there's famous voice actors. Just
yeah.
that is a huge deal. That is not the case in America. So this
Right. I
movie's
see what you're
like,
saying.
bro, you could have had Charles Martinet and just have him do his thing. But
Yeah,
nope.
yeah, but you know what? This reminds me of. I remember when Kojima recast Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid 5. One of the reasons that he kind of gave behind that was that like he wanted the story to be more dramatic and he needed an actor that could read those lines with way more emotion to it and not I'm not saying that voice actors can't do that. That's literally what they do. But um he just felt that specifically David Hayter, who usually did the voice of Snake, he had a more limited range, right? And so with Charles Martinet doesn't do like dramatic acting stuff. And it
Even
is
then,
kind of like different. So
even,
like I agree with your overall point though that like they're kind of just going with these big names to sell the movie as opposed to maybe going with like who's the best voice actor. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And like but like Charles Martinet specifically, I could see why they maybe don't want him to do that. And
I
someone brought this up that I didn't even think about. Especially in like this whole climate that we're in today and we're already seeing a little bit with Chris Pratt with this. Mario's like accent it is a caricature of like Italian like Americans. It's not a flattering stereotype. It's like it's like they're making fun of how you talk. I'm
yeah.
not saying I find that a problem. I think Mario just sounds like Mario, but I could see them being like I bet you when we see this trailer, I don't think Chris Pratt is going to be doing an Italian accent. I think he's going to be talking normally or like he's going to be doing a voice, but it's not going to be like it's a me, he's not going to do that. I think that they're trying to
I
get
really
away
doubt
from that.
that.
I
I'm
think
kind of
they're trying to
expecting
get.
that.
Yeah, I
If
think
he
they're
didn't
getting
say
away
it's
from
a
that.
me, I'm walking out of the theater.
No, he might say
Yeah,
that, but he's not gonna talk like what I expect Mario to talk, which is kind of unsettling. It's like fridge horror. It's like I
yeah,
know it's coming, and I know I'm not gonna like it at first.
yeah. But you know what the thing is that to me, like Mario, when I think of Mario's voice, it's not him saying things. It's like him going like Yahoo and stuff. And
Dude,
for me to hear him, for me to hear another version of like it's never been anyone else. Like Sonic has had other voice actors. Like there are little differences between them, but like Mario's only been Charles Martinet. So for me, I'm just kind of like I don't know if I'm ready to hear another Yahoo. And is it going to be like this Yahoo is not Mario Yahoo? It's just not Mario. Like I don't know if I'm going to feel that way. I might. You know what I mean?
Dude, literally, when I think of Mario's voice, the first clip that comes to mind is him backward long jumping up a stair and just having like the voice clip like play repeatedly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, so we'll see where it goes. I mean, I don't know, the Nintendo tradition of not having their characters talk so that you can project yourself into them. I've always thought that that works really well. Maybe there's a difference between games and movies, and they'll just fully embrace it. Maybe they found like a clever story thing that kind of explains it. But if Link is next and Samus, I'm not ready, bro. Mario, I'll let it because he's more cartoony. But Link talking, I'm not psychologically prepared for that, dude. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Dude, I have the solution. Just skip Samus, skip Link, go straight to Pit. Just give him his own show.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's a little bit
Pit,
of bias here.
Pit and Fox, they
Yeah,
talk
they'd be
all the
perfect.
time, and they just talk. Link does not talk. I'm not ready for that, man. But yeah, let's move on because we just have a few more things to get through. So the only other big, the second to last thing we're going to talk about is after they announced these Mario characters, we got another glimpse into the post-apocalyptic Nintendo demographic here, where they just want to appeal to people who are not on Earth anymore. Splatoon 3. They showed a bunch of new multiplayer mechanics like grappling hooks and like a mech that you could roll around in and shoot with. They showed a lot of single player content that they're calling the single player campaign. They're calling Return of the Mammalians, which again is referring to like humans being gone from this world, which is funny because they've always had those two cats. Then they're technically mammals. The little Judge, and what's the other guy's name? I forgot.
Judd and Little Judd.
Yeah.
I literally think that's the little one's name. It's just Little Judd.
Little Judd. So technically all mammals are gone except for these two cats. Anyway, Splatoon 3 comes out 2022. And so, of course, I have to have AJ on for this because you're the only other person in our group of friends that knows anything about Splatoon and likes the game as much as I do. Hungry's a boring idiot who still hasn't played that game. Kyle, I've given up on him. He's a simpleton. He'll never be able to understand and appreciate the complexities of Splatoon.
I
But
kind of want to
AJ,
play the first Splatoon. I heard the single player is really good.
you should, bro. You'll like it. It's as close to Nintendo making a 3D platformer in modern era as you can get. It's not a 3D
Yeah.
platformer, but it's like along those lines.
Because
So
it's because of the mechanics of like shooting the walls and being able to
Don't
paint
tell
it and
me
then go
anything,
up
all
your
right?
paint.
I just want to play the game.
so then
Like-
do it. So anyway,
Sorry.
no, you're good. So yeah. So what do you think about the multiplayer stuff they showed, like the grappling hook?
Dude, that looks
And
so cool.
Dude, that looks so cool because I've been playing Apex Legends a lot recently, and one of the characters I really like is the Pathfinder, and he has a grappling hook, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. And then like seeing it in Splatoon where it's a similar type of like multiplayer shooter game, I'm like, grappling hooks in games like that are just always sick. Like
Dude, I
being
think
able to look at
grappling hook-
yeah. Sorry,
I
go
think
ahead.
grappling hook is just a top tier like item in anything ever.
Yeah, right. It's like, when are you not excited to get a grappling hook? Like in any game.
Dude, remember when there was the Halo like Infinite online release trailer, and then they had a grappling hook in there too. Like,
Yeah. Oh, they did. Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Yo, he took the grenade out of his hand or something."
Yeah,
The
yeah.
grappling
The
hook
Like,
grappling
hooks
hook.
just make everything
insanely
better.
good.
Yeah, and the thing that's cool about it is that I think Splatoon, one of the things that made it brilliant was that because you could paint the walls and go up, it made the battlefield very vertical. And like Apex does that a little bit because you could climb stuff. And like, I feel like those kind of shooters are going in that direction where they're trying to make it so that you think about the game or the map vertically just as much as you do horizontally. And so Splatoon's been more about being grounded and then you paint up a wall. But with the grappling hook, they just like enhanced how much you could like move around. And like for me, movement options, that's all I want. I just want to be able to do more movement.
They also have more. The other things were shown in the first trailer, but like there's like a new type of roll on the ground. So you have
I didn't even notice that.
A weird like ground dash. So you own Splatoon when you're swimming in the ink and then you jump and then you don't carry any of your momentum.
Yeah.
And honestly, it kind of feels bad, like from like just a playing. Like I think an important part about games is that moving around has to be fun.
Yeah.
So like losing your momentum when you jump isn't fun.
Oh yeah, you're right. I do
There's
know
like
what
a
you're
lot of
talking
hang
about.
time. So now they have
Yeah,
like a new mechanic where you can like jump out of the ink and then you'll dash, like you'll keep your momentum. And they have another
yeah,
one like going up walls where it once you pop out, like once you go up a wall, it's kind of awkward like in the older games,
yeah.
like to get on the flat surface. So now you can like launch yourself a little bit. So you have like this weird like wall jump thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it,
yeah, all that stuff is so cool, and like now, like the mech thing, like they had like this giant robot ball that you roll around in, and then it kind of like unfolds, and the guns come out, and you could like shoot things. Like I don't know,
that
man.
looks
Like
cool.
it looks so cool, man. But the one thing I want to say is actually, let me ask Hungry something. As someone who hasn't played Splatoon, like, or you're not super into it yet, right? When you saw this trailer, what'd you think? Like,
I didn't
what
really
was
see
your
it.
impression? What's that?
I really didn't really see it.
Oh, okay. So you were just like, yeah, it's Splatoon. I don't even know anything about that.
Yeah, none of that stuff
Yeah.
made sense to me.
Yeah.
So I
So,
was just like half paying attention to it.
yeah. Because the reason I asked is because I don't know how you feel about this, AJ, as someone who's played the first two a lot. Like, does this game look different enough? Because, like, Nintendo usually doesn't do this. Like, now we're getting two Splatoon games on the same console, and usually they'll put like, all right, there's one Mario Kart for this console, and then there's one, mainline Zelda game, or one, maybe two, one Mario game, or like whatever. They don't usually make like more than one Smash Brothers for a console, whatever. All that stuff. There's usually one, and for Splatoon, I don't. I'm like wondering, like, is this something that could have just been an expansion pack for Splatoon 2? Like, did they really need to like call this Splatoon 3? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and I remember hearing other people say like the same thing when this game was first released. Like, oh, this could just be like a new expansion, like the Octo expansion. But I think because they have like the I mentioned earlier, like the new mechanics, like just these are just universal. It's not like a weapon you pick or something. These new like ground options and options off a wall are things that
Yeah,
every player can be able to do. So I
right.
think because they like changing like how the base game functions, I think it's fine to make it like a new game. And that was like one of my main complaints with Splatoon 2, especially at launch, was that like a lot of the content like wasn't added in yet, and it felt pretty bare bones and a little too similar to the first game. Like I was fine with it being on the Switch because I don't have to break up my Wii U if I ever want to play Splatoon again. And they fixed a lot of like the balance issues with like the
Yeah,
specials. So I was okay with that, but I'm like, okay, when Splatoon 3 comes out, it has to be really different from 1 and 2. And I feel like this game so far is looking like it's going to be really different.
yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, I'm kind of in between because I think for me, different means like, I mean, the single player stuff looks really different. Like they're showing you what they call the Splatlands, and it's like deserts and winter, like snowy areas. Like the single player looks way more different to me than the multiplayer so far. But the multiplayer looks different enough where I think it justifies a purchase for me. Like I'm super excited about this, even though I still feel like maybe this could have been. I didn't notice the base movement stuff that you pointed out. I didn't notice the rolling. All I noticed was like the grappling hook and the mech, and that's it. And then like
Yeah,
the single player stuff.
if you want, you can go. It's funny that this is it's on Tumblr, but they have a Tumblr account, literally the Splatoon Research Lab, and they have posts detailing like, hey, here's some of the new special items. This is back from like when they first released the first trailer. So
Yeah.
like, hey, these are the new special items in the game, and they show the crab, but I thought that was like a bomb you could throw. Like, oh, it's probably gonna like the auto bomb from like the previous game,
Oh,
but maybe the crab walks on walls or something. But no, you ride in the crab, which is pretty
yeah,
cool.
that's
And
sick.
they show off the rolls there. So
Yeah.
if you're interested, people hope go check out the Splatoon Research Lab on Tumblr.
Yeah, what I'm most interested in is just new stages because for me, that's what keeps those games fresh. Is like I just need to be on a new map, and we'll see. I don't know. Maybe they'll fix the biggest Splatoon issue ever, which is voice chat. Doubt it,
No, I think
but
it's gonna be the same. Honestly,
it'll
the big
probably be the
issue for
same.
me is getting a party together for Turf War. Because in Splatoon 1 and 2, someone joins a turf like a random online match, and then your friends have to join that match. You can't
Right.
all like party up and go in together.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's right.
it's
Yeah.
really annoying if you have like a decent sized group and you're trying all to play turf war, because you'll join a random match and maybe you'll be the eighth person to join that match. So all your friends have to wait for that match to be over, and hope that enough people leave so you can join that online match together.
Cringe. That is actual cringe.
When you do the rank stuff with friends, you can all party up and go in as a group.
Yeah.
So I really hope they fix that for Turf 4.
But yeah, either way, I'm super excited and day one purchase, no brainer for me, bro. Splatoon is sick.
Also, wait, another thing.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
is that in the older games you can get like spawn camp pretty bad sometimes, like if you're just getting steamrolled. But instead of the spawn being like a singular platform on the level, it seems like you spawn on these like flying platforms, and then from there you get to launch yourself onto the map.
Yeah.
So obviously you're not gonna be able to put yourself anywhere, but you can pick a spot. So it's probably gonna be harder to like spawn camp people. So I think that's a really cool fix to a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I noticed that too. Like they show them spawning on those like metal cubes that are flying in the air, and they're not coming out of the normal little spot in the center of at the end of the map. So yeah, I mean they're definitely fixing problems and changing a lot of stuff, which is fucking sick. Can't wait to play that game. All right, finally, we have the return of the Vaporware, bro. So the final trailer they showed in this direct. They show like this giant like demon looking thing, and it's like attacking a city, and you're seeing a bunch of cops go to try to stop it, and you're like, what game is this? And then you see some like random stuff in the background, and then you see like an Astral Chain reference with like this dog, and then you're like, oh, it's Platinum Games, and then you see the Astral Chain thing, you're like, oh, it's Astral Chain, and then you see Bayonetta show up, and she's like, no, this is Bayonetta 3. I'm back. And so this game looks sick, and it's just awesome that they like finally showed it, because like obviously this game was announced like 5 years ago, dude. This game was announced 5 years ago, dude. How like there's a certain demographic of people that are dead that wanted to play this game. That's how long game development is. I never even thought about it that way, but you got to think about it. Like, bro, these games are taking so long to make that you announce a game, and there's got to be like some percentage of your audience is not alive when the game comes out.
That's really depressing. I don't want to think about it like that.
Dude, there's definitely someone who finished Breath of the Wild and went, I can't wait for the next game, and got hit by a truck the next day, bro. There's no way that didn't happen. There's too many people out there. It had to have happened.
I mean, yeah. This like raw numbers.
Yeah, by raw numbers, someone saw the Breath of the Wild 2 teaser and died the next day. Nintendo, you gotta hurry up with this. So, Hungry, first of all, you need to explain to me, because I remember you said that like there was like 3 fake outs before the Astral Chain fake out, before they show you that it's Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
So like what happened? I don't even know. Like I didn't catch any of it.
So the first, because you're not a Platinum Games guy. You're
I'm a Star Fox Zero guy.
Yeah, so you're a fraud. Right?
So the only Platinum game I like.
The first thing is that you see the Platinum Games logo right away. Not a logo, but like it's on a building, right?
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, it's on a billboard on the top right.
Oh, it's a Platinum Games, right? Then you see the building that's in the middle of the street is a 101 building, like the Wonderful 101.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, yo, is another Wonderful 1 game? Hungry gonna pop off?
All right, so it wasn't that. The second thing is that yet to be announced, yet to be named game by is called Project GG, and there was like this dog in the trailer that people got attached to a lot, so much so that like was like, I'm gonna put the dog in the game now. Like everyone likes this dog for some reason, right? So I saw that dog and I'm like, oh, is this Project GG? And I got really hyped, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw the Astral Chain dog, and I'm like, oh, it's Astral Chain. So that's like 3 different games it could have been. And then it's like, and then I saw the slowdown. I'm like, oh, it's Bayonetta 3.
Yeah. Then you see the witch time, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Another example
that ruined an entire fighting game. Yes.
I was gonna say another example is Smashers having PSD to something that not supposed to cause fear.
Oh boy, that one move.
It was a triple fake out.
Yeah, that's awesome that he did that, because like it's just they know that they're trolling you. They're trolling all of us, like all the fans who were like making fun of people were way too annoying about that game, because I remember seeing people going like Bayonetta 3 is canceled, and I'm like, there was never. I remember himself was like, where are you guys inventing this from? Like, there was nothing that, just because it's taking long doesn't mean it's canceled. Like, what? It's insane. So yeah, people are obviously super excited that this game is back, or that it's shown that it exists, not back, that it even like exists at all in any way. But yeah, so like, look, I haven't played Bayonetta. AJ, have you played the first two games at all?
I have not. I remember Hungry streaming them once, and they looked cool, and I kind of want to try them out on the Switch,
Right.
but I have not played them.
When you see
Yeah.
someone who's like pretty decent at the game, because I wouldn't say I'm good at it. There are people leagues ahead of me, right? But when you see someone who's like kind of knows what they're doing, you're like, "What the heck? This game looks insane!" Right?
Yeah.
And then you play, you're like, "What? This game sucks."
That's
Right? So
hilarious.
that's like the biggest problem with those games. But Bayonetta is like one of the better ones at that. Like,
Yeah.
at, like making you feel good about yourself. Like for smaller things, like the torture attacks are just like a button you press and it's like a good animation. Right?
Did you play Bayonetta 2?
No.
Okay, so just one. So like, I don't know what the changes were from 1 to 2, but like,
Me neither.
what yeah, I assume you don't either. But I'm just
You got a
thinking in my
haircut.
head. I'm just thinking in my head like,
This
what
one though.
they
This
the
one
only
looks crazy different.
yeah, like I was about to say, like already they showed you that, like, first of all, her design as a character is really different. Like she has like this super long hair, and like they show you that, you know, one of the things about Bayonetta in all the games is that she uses her hair to like make her costume and like make monsters and stuff like that. And they show you that like she makes this giant like kaiju, like Godzilla looking thing, and there are these kaiju battles, I'm assuming, in this game that they show you. But she's not naked when she does that this time. Like I don't know if Nintendo's like, hey buddy, no more
Nah,
naked Bayonetta stuff, because
that's
like
definitely not true.
there was no point in this trailer. First of all, her new outfit, she looks a little more covered up than the other two, and when she does her special thing, there was like no nudity. I was almost like surprised. I was surprised there wasn't nudity in a Nintendo Direct, bro.
Nah, I definitely don't think it's a Nintendo thing because there was like this Link costume that you can have in the Bayonetta games.
Yeah.
And the initial design, Nintendo rejected it, and they're like, she needs to like show more skin.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
So
yeah, so maybe they are cool with it. I don't know, man. Because some of those original Bayonetta reveals, like she literally like puts her crotch in the middle of the camera. Like it's like insane. Like I think the Bayonetta 2. Oh, maybe it was Bayonetta 2. Yeah, so maybe it isn't Nintendo because Bayonetta 2 is exclusive as well as this one. So yeah, you're right.
So I really doubt that that's the case. There's been some fan theories that it's actually not Bayonetta that we're looking at, but we're not gonna get into that.
Spoilers. But yeah, so you're excited about this game, I'm assuming. Like it looks cool to you, even though you're probably not gonna play it for a while.
This game's gonna make me play Bayonetta 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could see myself eventually getting into those games at some point. I'm just not 100% sure yet when I'll do that. But Bayonetta 1 and 2 are on the Switch right now, and they're pretty sick, apparently. So, yeah.
Bayonetta 1, if you told me it was the best 3D action game, I wouldn't agree, but I wouldn't, like, argue the point either.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, one of the right answers is to the question. Yeah. But, yeah, it's just cool to see that, you know, one of the two Vaporware Switch games, the other being Metroid Prime 4. One of them got revealed. I have hope now that Metroid Prime 4 maybe isn't as far away as we think. And I don't know, are there any other like crazy games that they announced a million years ago that haven't been shown for the Switch?
I think it's just Metroid Prime, because before it was like like the Holy Trinity was like Bayonetta, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and Metroid Prime 4. Those were like the four games where like you got a logo and that was it.
Yeah,
or the 3 games, and now it's just Metroid.
Yeah. Oh my God, the Holy Trinity, dude.
I guess unholy Trinity in this case.
Yeah. Overall, man, this Direct had a lot in it, and there was a lot for me, and there was a lot of stuff that maybe I don't care about, whatever. But like, dude, first of all, I was wrong. I've been saying that we were gonna get a big Direct, and I was right about that. But I thought that we were gonna there was like a window for like, there's no big Switch game for December. And there still isn't. They announced a million things, and that window's just open. So I was wrong about that. But the cool thing is that when you look at 2022, dude, the Switch is like, this is kind of OD, man. Like, now you have Splatoon 3, Bayonetta 3, you have Breath of the Wild 2, you have Pokemon Legends, you have Pikmin 4, which isn't announced yet. You have all these other games.
Wait a minute. You can't include Pikmin 4 in this. You literally don't even know that game still exists.
You have,
You can't include that.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Like, there's so many sick games coming out next year now for the Switch. This is not a console that you would think is like on its 5th year. Like, it's an almost 5-year-old console at this exact time on most other Nintendo consoles lifespan. You'd already have seen, or the new console would be like about to come out. The Switch is like, we don't care. Our 5th year is going to be maybe our best year. Like, this is just an insane lineup of games. So, yeah, I mean, let's like, before we go, you guys have to pick one game out of this lineup that is like your game for 2022. AJ,
out of the
you go
2022
first.
games?
Yeah.
All right. Wait, does it have to be a game showed in the direct, or is it just
No, we're just going any. Well, all right, it can't be Breath of the Wild 2.
All right,
so
cool.
Let's just say
that
that.
was just I was gonna say, like, I feel like that's just gonna be all of our answers. It's just Breath of the Wild 2, but 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Splatoon 3 because I finally get to play with my favorite Splatoon player, Glentendo, host of the Glentendo podcast. So I said I was gonna roast you for this, and I almost forgot, but it's happening now. So when I was in college, the school's internet for some reason blocked peer-to-peer connection on like the Wii U, so I couldn't play online with Smash. I couldn't play online with Splatoon. I never got to play with Glenn. And then senior year, Splatoon 2 is out. I'm living off campus, so I have Wi-Fi, like actual good internet, so I could play with Glenn. Never plays with me. Over this like pandemic, I played Splatoon every other Saturday with my friends on my stream. Glenn never hits me up to play.
Dude,
never played Splatoon with me
in
my life.
I was looking forward to it so much, and then around the time that you were able to play again, I was like, I'm playing other games, and I just forgot about it. Like, there was a moment in time where I was playing that game every night for hours and hours and hours for weeks, bro.
Yeah, we just couldn't play.
Splatoon 3, day 1. We're in there, Boppy. We're in there. Don't worry.
I'm definitely going to stream that day 1. And that stream is going to be crazy because it's be you and my other friends who play Splatoon. So we literally might have a full like room of just 8 of my friends or 7 of my friends.
It's going to be so
like
sick.
We could like have different Discord calls, communicate.
God, and just curse at each other and expletives and
all right, hold on. I'll be streaming. None of that. You can curse, but don't like,
Come on, AJ. What? You know better than to invite me.
This is true. You'll be on the other team. We can't be in the same call.
All right, Hungry. What do you got for 2022? Pokemon Legends, Bayonetta 3, Kirby, Splatoon 3, Pikmin 4. What do you got?
The Shin Megami Tensei 5 PC release.
Oh my god, that is so cringe. God, I hope just for you, I hope that game never comes to PC. But for me personally, obviously Breath of the Wild 2. But if it's not Breath of the Wild 2, it's definitely Pikmin 4. And if it's not Pikmin 4, then it's definitely gonna be Splatoon 3, bro. But yeah, so that is our show. We just covered all that Nintendo Direct stuff, dude. Honestly, it's super late right now. So I appreciate both you guys staying up doing this. Let's not play Smash right now, because if we do, we're going to be up until 4 a.m. Guaranteed. Yeah. All right. So that's our show. You can find Hungry on his YouTube channel at youtube.com/Arhungry. Hungry, what's your Twitter? Tell the world what your Twitter is.
MF_Arhungry.
Yeah. And AJ, our good friend, first time on the show, killed it, crushed it. You can where can we find you on Twitter?
You can follow me at SSB_AirGordon on Twitter. I usually just tweet about random stuff. And whenever I stream at twitch.tv/air_Gordon_. I usually just play Guilty Gear now. But when stuff like Metroid comes out, or like even Splatoon, definitely be streaming those games. Oh, and Breath of the Wild too, dude. That's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, man. God, it can't happen fast enough. And yeah, you can find me at the Glentendo Podcast, where you're at right now. No, hey. So have a good night, guys. Thank you again, and take care of yourselves. Thank you, guys. See you next week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. You can follow me on Twitter at Super Glentendo. The Glentendo Podcast is a weekly Nintendo / Smash community podcast. Our aim is to have galaxy brain conversations on all things Nintendo. If you like the show, please consider becoming a friendo and supporting on patreon.com/Glentendo. Friendos get early access to the show each Thursday. The show then becomes free to all the following Sunday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts right now and you actually like the show, please give us a good review. It helps boost our visibility so more people can find the show. This show is brought to you by our amazing producers, Naomi Eduardo, In a Yellow Flash, and the legendary Riz.